As the leader of the Booner Pack, I lead from the front.
All right, boys. Lock in.
It's our core foundation, man. Grit.
I'm fired up. I'm fired the fuck up, boys.
It's pumping right now. It's got my juices pumping, boys.
Welcome to Crunch Time Sports with Jeff, Booner, and Lucas. It is Tuesday, June 10th, and we are back with more Detroit sports news and updates. Today, we got a special guest joining the show later.
Here we go.
Mr. Rogelio Castillo.
Come on.
The Raj Dog. Raj Cast Baseball on X. Let's talk some Tigers. We have Za'Darius Smith to get to, fellas. Za'Darius just keeps on blue balling Lions fans.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that.
That is, if I had to put it as best as I can, that's how I would phrase it. There's another piece, another clip. No, we actually have a clip. Another quote coming from the BET Awards, which we'll get to today. Just can't happen any quicker. I mean, hey, it's always some Za'Darius stuff every 2-3 weeks. Just how it is.
I mean, could we call a spade here, Jeff Iafrate? If you've been listening to the show, what have I been saying for months? Za'Darius Smith was going to be a Detroit Lion no matter what. It was to me, this was like, I don't know, like the playbook got handed to you. I think the only person I met was Lukas Klotz, who said, "It's over, boys. It's not happening." This was silver platter. Here you go. Za'Darius Smith is coming back. The fact that Brad Holmes didn't make a move all offseason long at the edge position, that he knew back of his head, got my guy coming back. I know it. Don't worry. Why do you think Brad just constantly was just like playing with the media about edge? Like, he didn't care. He knew all along what's going on. That man knows. Let's not play dumb here. We're all adults, right? We know what it was.
We are
I
all
hope
adults.
so, man. I hope so.
Yeah, we are all adults. The quote he came to, he was at the BET Awards there with Cash Doll. Lucas just hates when we keep.
We just love one conversation talk about Za'Darius without the name Cash Doll being brought up.
I mean, he was with her.
It's the only outside.
You know what? No. We're not doing
the only time, and Travis Kelce.
No.
The only time we talk about a player's girlfriend meaning anything.
Jeff, Clyde, we're not doing this. Za'Darius Smith returns to the Lions. Part of the Cash Doll deserves credit.
He's
keeping this man in the no.
Atlanta, LA.
Yeah, and then he goes and plays for the Falcons. And then he goes and plays for the Falcons. You should be getting on your knees. No, not laughing at that. Don't think that's funny. You should be getting on your knees thanking Cash Doll that she's dating Za'Darius Smith. So he's coming here and playing and staying in Detroit playing football. That's part of the reason, I'm sure. I'm sure she's done some talking like, hey, come back to my team. Like, let's go. Like, stay in Detroit.
On your knees.
You can't tell me there's a chance. If he wasn't dating Cash Doll, there's a chance. You should be thanking her if Za'Darius Smith comes back. I want you to write her a handwritten letter, Lucas Klotz, apologizing for saying bad things about her.
He was able to find Cash Doll and start a relationship, but I'm telling you, in my opinion, looking at NFL athletes in general, fairly, unless it's a wife with a family, does a girlfriend dictate where a player plays? If
I'm not saying you can't be that naive to not see that. She obviously is going to have some sort of pull.
To have one conversation about Za'Darius Smith without
he was with her.
Cash Doll being like it's.
All right. You know what? Don't bring Cash Doll up. Even though he was with her.
I'm bringing up an inconvenience of mine that I was just like, you know what, guys? For once, let's stop acting like Cash Doll is in a huge factor in this. Let's talk about Za'Darius Smith. What the hell does Cash Doll have to do with that?
No, you're right. You're right. We don't talk about Za'Darius Smith at all. No, you're right.
That's exactly what I said. We move, boys.
You did just say, can we please talk about Za'Darius for once? We never do.
I said without
mention. But
you should be thanking Cash Doll at the end of the day.
Let me say this, Klotz.
You should be.
Two things can be true. All right. Za'Darius, I think in his mind, even if he wasn't with Cash Doll, he'd want to come to the Detroit Lions. They're contenders. He played here already. It just so happens that his lady's from here. All right. Maybe that adds a little spice. Can that be like the, a little cherry on top, maybe?
And it just so happens his lady's more famous. His lady is
I'm not
from
getting
the city.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, I mean,
I
it's just a
could've named
fact.
that
He's
Cash
going to the
Doll
BET Awards. Was he at the BET Awards by himself, Klotz? Did he get those? Did people
No,
get
I'm
these
sure
quotes
he
at the
was there
BET
for
Awards just because he
Cash
showed
Doll.
up? Oh, okay, that makes sense. So we have to mention her name for context of the situation. Thank you.
There
That's
we go.
that's where I get a little frustrated.
Morphining time. Sure.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah,
about
that-
the 11th time we've brought it up in the last 2 weeks.
Well, no, it's actually the first because the BET Awards were last night.
The name Cash Doll. We're now.
Well, yeah,
arguing
'cause he was with her
semantics.
last
I'm going to
night.
move on from this conversation.
Okay.
Keep going into it.
Well, here's the quote from the BET Awards from Cashdell and Za'Darius Smith. But Za'Darius said, "We both know where I want to be." He told USA Today, "Hopefully, I can get back to Detroit because the coaching staff and everyone in the front office are great. When I'm there, I feel like a leader and like I can influence the young guys and do great things. Hopefully, I can get back to where I want to be in Detroit." So that's that's the full quote.
He wants to be here.
I mean, let's keep it a stack right now, fellas. I mean, this is information we probably kind of assumed. I think he wants to be in Detroit. I don't think there's a doubt in his mind where he does. I think that's the number one place he wants to be. The real part of it, all of it really falls on Brad with making the decision. I think it's really up to Brad. Now, it takes two to have a negotiation. Now, how much does Za'Darius want? What's the price range? In my opinion, I think the reason why it hasn't happened yet is not only the price, but I think it's the length. I think that has to do something with it because I think if you're Brad, you probably want a short-term deal. And if you're Za'Darius, you want to, not a long, I'm not saying a 4-year deal, but maybe you want like a 2-3-year deal, because you're 30, you want a little bit of security. Like, I get it. I understand that. You don't want a 1-year deal, like a prove it deal. I mean, he's Za'Darius, you know what I mean? He's like, I've got you. I can get you close to double-digit sacks. So I kind of get both sides. I think that's where they're at right now. It's going to take one side to cave. It's either Brad is going to be like, you know what? We'll give you an extra year, a little more money, or Za'Darius goes, I'll take a little less money or one less year. I think it's going to come down to that. And if it's not the Lions, Za'Darius is going to have a team that he will be able to sign with. So I think that's why it probably hasn't happened yet. It's just really Brad, man. Yeah, you can be in contact with someone's agent, but if you're not meeting what the asking price is, like this, I mean, you're going to be at a stalemate. You know what I mean? That's kind of just what it is.
Yeah. I do think there's a side of this to where they might already have a price in a year. I think honestly, to me, it's more believable that they already have a contract locked in and Za'Darius is waiting to sign it. And he just doesn't want to do the mini camp that they had the last 2 weeks. And by the time the training camp comes around, deal's going to be done. Like I truly do believe there's already a deal in place. I see what you're saying, Jeff. Like, I do agree there that might be a possibility to where money and length of contract, all of that, they're trying to figure it out. But there's just something with me, like seeing the video today, him saying that, like, it didn't feel like those comments were, hey, it's on Detroit. It just felt like, yeah, I want to be in Detroit. And I think it's just something where it's like he knows that he's a vet. How old is he? He's in his 30s. Like, he's been around the game. He's in no rush to get back on the field. I'm sure he's working out every day. He's in the best shape, just like he was last year. He's ready to go. He's a guy that relatively stays healthy. So I just think it's one of the more situations to where, just as a vet, I know we want him probably in the building with these guys last week and with Kelvin Shepard as the new DC. But if I'm him, it's just like there's no rush. There really isn't. It's just, hey, just get me to training camp and I'll be ready to go by training camp. That's the feeling that I get, especially based off the video that came out over the last couple hours. Like, it makes me, I feel a little better on that sense. And if it is a contract issue or a length issue, I would say there's not going to be a side that falls through. Like, it's going to get done. Like, if Brad realizes and it comes to training camp that Za'Darius and his camp's like, no, I think Brad would be like, all right, let's just get this done at this point. I think there's like a deadline and they're just going to say we're good to go. Let's roll.
Yeah, I'm hoping because JT Olsen was pretty much going to say what I was in the chat. Like, Za'Darius has all the leverage right now, especially the fact that the Lions haven't added another edge. Marcus Davenport, without a doubt, is a player that you have to have insurance for. And if you have AQM and Hassanein in there, I do not have faith that Marcus Davenport's going to be healthy come playoff time. And if you roll with AQM and a 5th, 6th round rookie, that is going to make the road to the Super Bowl potentially incredibly more difficult than if you simply just get what you pay for in signing Za'Darius Smith. Bringing Za'Darius Smith solidifies that defensive line and what it should be perfectly. And it again, I agree with you, Booner, where if you're sitting at a point where it's just like, okay, he wants one more year. Cool. Make the extra year, and then you can move off that contract. Don't act like it's going to be something that's you're locked down to for the next 2 to 3 seasons. If he wants a 2-year deal, add a year. But Za'Darius Smith, especially with other losses that you've had, both coordinator, personnel, whichever one you want to look at it, he's a valuable member to this team that's been here and made a good impact for this defense last season. So Za'Darius Smith should be in Detroit. There's no question about it.
Yeah, my thing is if it is because he doesn't want to participate in the minicamp stuff, the Lions don't have a mandatory minicamp, right?
No, they're done until training camp because training camp starts
earlier. If it is
for
the
them.
case, it should be soon he signs. It should be like relatively soon because they don't have anything else this offseason besides.
No, it doesn't need to be soon. It just needs to be before training camp, and their training camp is earlier than usual because of the Hall of Fame game. So yeah, it is going to be soon. In the next month, he'll be a Detroit Lion. That's why I'm confident. I would say I'd give it a 90% chance, in my opinion, that Za'Darius Smith will be a Detroit Lion. And I think it went up for me. I had it at 75% a month ago, and then I'm to me, today's comments move it up to a 90 because it's people in the chat are saying they brought up a great point. He hasn't signed anywhere. He comments today. He knows where he wants to be. He wants to be in Detroit. We know Dan and Brad want him. So it's just about, you're getting a deal done. And again, I just think the bottom line was, and Doc said it last week on the show, I just don't think I don't think it's a bad thing from a vet. He just didn't want to go through some of this offseason stuff. He wanted to enjoy his offseason. You see him with, sorry, Klotz, I'm going to say it, close your earmuffs. He wanted to enjoy his offseason with his girlfriend, Cashdell, going to the BET Awards, going on vacation. You saw he was on vacation. Which you know what? I don't hate him. I don't hate that. Enjoy it. Just be ready to go for a Super Bowl run.
Well, there's the clip you're referencing of Za'Darius at the BET Awards.
When you signed in that contract with the Lions, soon. Okay, that's all I need to hear. When you signed in that contract,
he's like soon. He's like, that's all I needed to hear.
That's all I needed to hear.
That's all I came for. So yeah, I think ultimately, man, the reason why it's just such an obvious thing. I mean, if you sign Za'Darius Smith, you have one of the better defensive lines in the league, and it helps everyone they currently have, in so many different ways. I mean, it helps Aiden Hutchinson for the obvious, right? He'll have Za'Darius will have plenty of one-on-ones that you feel comfortable he will win. So Aiden by default gets better. It's going to help out the interior of the defensive line because kind of for similar reasons, like Tyleek and DJ and Aleem when he gets back, these guys at times will draw double teams, and you have a guy who can win one-on-ones. And then you get to Davenport. I think Davenport gets even better because now he goes into more of a backup role where
rotational
piece where he gets, you're better off keeping him. He's more likely to stay healthy that way. I think he stays fresh and he'll be better in that role, in my opinion. And I think him and Za'Darius will work well off each other. If Za'Darius needs a rest, you have Davenport. They can kind of bounce, and work together. Yeah. So I think it makes everyone better. Ahmed Hassanein, the rookie.
Yeah.
Doesn't put a lot of pressure on him year one to have to go out there and make a huge impact or be way better than people expect. He can just learn and develop. It helps Calvin Shepard. He's a defensive coordinator. He's first time, but still you have a guy who's seen a lot of football, played a lot of football. He's a veteran in this league, and he can help out guys like Aiden, even though Aiden's doesn't need a lot of help, but still just to have a vet in the room, help out Ahmed. How about Aleem? All these younger guys, man. He just be a voice in the locker room. There's not really anything negative.
No, there's not.
To be honest with you.
Really, honestly, it takes his defense, and I know a lot of people, the conversation has been this edge room all off season long. And you see people in the chat talking about, everyone was talking about a first round. Yes, everyone was, because what was the weakness on this defense from the jump? It was across from Hutch. And yes, your corners as well, but that room is solidified at this point. I think we all can agree. Obviously, there's still it's up for kind of interpretation on what that's going to end up being. But I think, like, I tweeted out a couple weeks ago when I did that. Remember that defensive line tweet I put out, boys, where it was like, I broke down each one. Hey, this might be an underrated room. One of the other tweets that I put out is, you have to get Za'Darius Smith. And if you add Za'Darius Smith, I would put this defensive line as one of the top in the NFL with Za'Darius, with Hutch, Za'Darius Smith, DJ Reader, when Lee McNeil gets healthy, Tyreek, Marcus Davenport. He'll most likely be healthy because he doesn't need all those snaps. He's not going to be doing that. You have Levi Josh Pascal. We all forget about those two guys a lot. AQM, who produced last year, 6 games, 3.5, 3 sacks. Like that room right there alone, you're sitting there going, okay, with Za'Darius, this is a legit room now. Ryan said Broderick Martin. Lopez, you have Lopez in there still. Like, you have some dudes in there who can legit play. And you have probably a top 3 edge rusher in that room as well. And to me, that solidifies you if you add Za'Darius, a guy who I believe was, correct me if I'm wrong, boys, in the time span that he played with the Detroit Lions, I think he was top 5 in pressures, and he had over 6 sacks with the Detroit Lions in that span when he was traded. So it's like, that's a pretty elite player in his own right. And you add that, it's like this defense takes like instantly a major step. For one player, to me, it's like a major step forward. It really is.
Agreed. What do you think, Klotzy?
I mean, I pretty much said what I had to earlier as far as like Za'Darius, his impact, it's needed for this team. I don't really have too much to add else on top of that.
Yeah, dude, I just think, man, with what they have, and you look around the NFL to the comment I think Jesse put in there, like maybe they'd be top 15. They're significantly better than top 15 with Za'Darius.
Are we talking about defensive line?
Yeah, with Za'Darius.
Oh, defensive line, you can argue. I mean, you can make an argument top 5 to 7 at that point with Za'Darius.
Yeah, they're in that range. I mean, you're talking about edge to edge, defensive tackle to nose tackle.
To depth.
Like the depth they have, you feel way more comfortable. Because like Za'Darius, he can get you. He played with Myles Garrett. Like, he knows what it takes to play alongside a really good player as it is. You know what I mean? He's used to that. And you don't have to worry about him. Like, the Lions care so much about the character side of things. I mean, Za'Darius is like the last person you have to worry about off the field. You just don't really have to worry about him. So that's even a bonus. Like, even in the NFC North, like I see Mountain Smasher D-line is 3rd best in the division. I don't know if you mean pre-Za'Darius or post-Za'Darius, but
post-Za'Darius, you would think number 1, right? I don't.
Yeah, like there's not even a.
There's no way that you're arguing that.
No, like the Bears. No, Packers. No, like, because they have the best player, and if you talk about what's around
by a mile. I don't see those people who are like really trying to make an argument that, hey, they wouldn't even, they're a mid D line even with Za'Darius. At that point, I would love to see you break down all the different defensive lines, because that defensive line from top to bottom, when you're talking about like number 1 on that D line, like Jeff said, to your interior, to your run defense, and then you add keep the pass rush of Hutch, and we've never seen Hutch and Za'Darius together. Za'Darius is a good pass rusher, so it's like, what are we? I don't know how you can't make an argument that's a top 5 to 7 defensive line with a healthy Za'Darius Smith, a healthy Marcus Davenport. Like, you were expecting last year Marcus Davenport to be your starting edge outside of Hutch, and you had Levi at most of the season starting. You had Josh Pascal starting. That's your bench now. 3 of your starters from last year essentially moved to your rotation. It completely switches to your rotation, and you upgraded significantly in those spots. And you drafted Tyreek. I think it's undoubtedly. Like, I don't think there's a question.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about what the Eagles just did, man. I'm telling you, I mean, let's not forget it. I know when we get, it's like short-term memory in 2025, but remember, man, the Eagles, they won that Super Bowl. I know people say they rush 4, which is true. I'm not saying the Lions have, if you can rush 4, great. But the point is suffocating quarterbacks.
Yeah.
That's the overall takeaway. They ran the ball effectively all year, actually at a historic, basically, pace with Saquon, but they were able to do what they did defensively, and that's how they won. So if you want to add Za'Darius, your defense it improves, and you can actually get after quarterbacks, which is what you're going to need. If you're going to take down one of these AFC teams, man, you're battling these elite quarterbacks. That's what you're going to have to do. All right, you're going to have to do it. I know Za'Darius, he's actually a pretty good run defender too. So, and again, I'm not saying, I know he's rushing 4 is not the only way. I'm not saying they have to rush 4, but my point is the pass rush. If you're not getting pressure on Josh Allen, if you're not getting pressure on Lamar Jackson, if you're not getting pressure on Patrick Mahomes, even if you're not getting pressure on some of these guys in the NFC, Matthew Stafford, you are toast. You are screwed. And at this point, Aiden Hutchinson, we fully feel confident about what he's going to look like. But again, after that, okay, what do you got? What do you got for me? What do you got for me? Is Marcus Davenport going to be there when the playoffs start? That's the big question, man. You know what I mean?
You know what, too? Taking a step further, Jeff. What did Amon-Ra St. Brown comment last year or on his show? You don't need corners if you have a great pass rush. If you bring Za'Darius Smith in and you have one of the best pass rushes in the NFL, how good is that for Terrion Arnold? How good is that for DJ Reed, Ennis Rakestraw, Meek Robertson? Those guys elevate even better, and they get even better. And it's like they don't have to work. I mean, obviously you want them to work, but it takes less pressure off your corners who in the last season at times struggled, and it helps them out a ton. Which last year, I mean, dude, Terrion as a rookie the man was getting thrown into the fire with no pass rush. So it's like, all right, now this year, let him have a pass rush, throw him into the fire. He's going to be that much better. And same with DJ Reed coming over from the Jets. It's just like, I think it takes this defense kind of up a notch in just like a bunch of different aspects. If you bring Za'Darius in, it changes everything.
MP, appreciate the $2. Says, wasn't he already on contract and got cut? Yeah, but it's because the contract was it was crazy.
Yeah, he had like void year. He had a bunch of different things.
It was a disaster of a contract by the Browns. So they had to cut him if they were going to re-sign him, it'd be a new contract. That contract was all messed up. It was, I don't know what the Browns did with that, but Brad Holmes didn't want anything to do with it. This comment, Ben Blue, is 100,000% correct. If you're going to beat some of these elite quarterbacks, especially how the Eagles had success, if you can get pressure without blitzing, you are in a significantly better position. That's how you take down these, because again, to his point, if you're blitzing these top quarterbacks, you're probably fucked. But if you can get pressure without blitzing,
changes everything.
Oh my gosh.
That's why there's layers to the signing if it happens.
Yeah, it's like, dude, you're in a great spot. You know what I mean? And the Lions only got pressure by blitzing. You know, they couldn't do, and I'm not talking about the injuries. I'm talking about throughout Brad's tenure. It's just been, they got to blitz. You can't just rush forward and get to the quarterback really ever. Because if Hutch isn't dominating a football game, then you're screwed. That's kind of how it is.
Calvin Shepard's probably going to smile. That man's going to be so happy if Za'Darius Smith signs.
Yeah, he would be ecstatic, man. And I guess it raises the question, right, with the cap space, like with this Ragnow stuff. Like Ragnow's not here; they have more money. What do you do with it? You know, you have Alex Anzalone, you have Za'Darius Smith, you have guys that need to be paid in the near future. Like if you're Brad Holmes, I think this is just how I'm looking at it. And I want to hear what you guys have to say about this, because this is my take on this whole thing. All right, if I'm Brad Holmes, and I got some change to play with. And I'm thinking about the future. I'm thinking about the present. I'm thinking about how we can win the Super Bowl, because that's what it is ultimately about. It's about winning a Super Bowl. If I had a choice, if you told me, Jeff, you can only re-sign Alex Anzalone or Za'Darius Smith in this hypothetical scenario, not saying that's how it is, but I'm saying in this hypothetical scenario, I would re-sign Za'Darius Smith. I would re-sign Za'Darius Smith because of all the reasons I just talked about for the last 10 minutes. Okay, and how much I think it would improve this team. Now, hold on. Let me answer the other side of it. Jeff, are you psycho? You're letting your captain go. I understand. I understand. But here's where I'm coming from with it. All right. You have a guy in Jack Campbell who is more than ready to be the Mike linebacker. He is 1,000% ready. We argue all the time, Boone, about what he looked like last year. And to what you say, this guy, and I actually don't really disagree with it. He's ready to be that guy. He's ready to be the green dot. He's ready to be the best linebacker on the team, lead the Lions, call things out, be the leader, because if he doesn't know it now, give him the opportunities. Going into year 3, you're going to extend him in the near future. Like, I think it's time for Jack. Unleash him, all right? Now, what do they do at that other linebacker spot? I don't know. Look into Jermaine Pratt. I don't know. If you're going to trade Anzo, then you figure it out with another option. Maybe you let Anzo, maybe you trade Anzo, maybe you let him ride it out, whatever it is. But if I had to choose one, I think if you're able to get after the quarterbacks with that defensive line, I think it'll probably serve your defense better than if Davenport were to go down and you weren't able to get that type of pressure and Anzalone's out there. It's not like Anzo, his job is going to be hard regardless if they can't get pressure. I'm a defensive line guy. All right. That's how I've always been. I love Anzo. I think he's very valuable, but it just so happens you have a younger, higher upside, just as athletic freak that can fill that void, in my opinion, right away. So I'm going to lean. If I had to choose, I would like them back, both back if you're winning a Super Bowl. But if you told me I only could choose one, I would go Za'Darius Smith because I think he's going to have that type of impact with everyone else in that D-line, and it's going to make him better. So I love you, Anzo. My fellow Italian, it's not personal, but
that's tough.
I got to – if I'm picking one to pay $10 million to, I'm giving it to Big Z, man. Take cash doll out.
You know what I think happens, and maybe I'm crazy. You know what I'm crazy for this. Ben Blue said we need Anzo to play out this season. I think there's a world where Anzo doesn't get a deal and shows up to training camp and plays. Yeah, I really do. Like I just think and I think Brad. I don't know. Like you look at the money is such a tough thing with the Lions right now. People make it seem like it's like such a pretty world that the Lions have all the cap space in the world to do whatever they want. In reality, and shout out to Easy for this because I had the conversation with him last weekend, and then I heard him today talking about it on the show. You don't have the money to long-term guys, even over a year. Next year, let me pull it up. I have OT over the cap up right now. In 2026, you're $54 million over the cap right now. Like you're in a spot, and you're in a spot to where Brad's like, we need to find a way to get that down, and we need to find a way to do that quick. And obviously they have 40 million, I believe right now, which is what boys like top 5 in the NFL, 40.124 million. But you need that for next year. Like you're sitting there going, okay, let's say we give 10 to Za'Darius this year. Now we're down to 30. Add 30 onto the 30-ish onto next year. You're sitting there going, okay, now we're 20 under the cap. Who can we restart? Oh, wait, Anzo's another 12 million to that. Oh, we're back to where we started again. So I think there's a world where Brad's just sitting there trying to do this math, and the financial people, you guys know, like those memes when you're in your head and there's like all those different people working at desk, like your inner mind.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm talking about? Like there's like 100 people sitting in Allen Park right now just pressing on different calculators trying to figure out the math of how they're going to make all this money work. So Jeff, I disagree with you. If anything, I'm keeping Anzo. Like if it push comes to shove and one of the two is, I think the problem is, and where I fall with this is Davenport, Levi, and Josh Pascal. Like Levi and Josh can play outside if you need to. You re-sign AQM. And you brought in Ahmed. You have a backup plan at edge. Obviously, it's not to the level you want, and it's not like at that level, but you at least have guys in place. At the Anzo position, at linebacker, you have Jack and Derek Barnes. You don't have Melko Rodriguez until probably November. They didn't, let's call it what it is. Brad didn't account for not to have Anzo. He didn't. They didn't account for this. And now you're sitting in a spot that's like, obviously Jack Campbell, in my opinion, is better than Anzo. He's the best linebacker in that room. You still need a guy at close to Anzo's level to take over and be in that room as well. And if you don't have a backup plan, to me, you have a better backup plan at edge than you do with linebacker right now, and because of the Rodrigo injury. Now, if Rodrigo was healthy, fully, didn't have the long-term injury, maybe I would say, okay, we can figure this out. That's just not it, though. So I would have to say give me Alex Anzalone if it came down to it. I think both of them will be on the Detroit Lions this year, and both will be playing football in the Honolulu Blue, though. I think Brad Holmes, we all have this conversation, Brad's going to get the job done. What does Brad Holmes do? The man cooks. Let the man cook. Every time I get questioned a lot when I say trust in Brad. You know what the boys do? Maybe not you guys, but the boys and the ladies in the chat. They laugh at me. And then what does Brad do? Go ahead, boys. Tell me. The man cooks. He cooks. He figures a way out. Every time that we think we're in a dog hole, or what are those holes called?
Foxhole.
When we're in the foxhole, we're like, oh, we're never getting out of this. And then what does Brad Holmes do? The man throws a ladder down to us and said, I got you, boys. Come on up. Every time. So I trust that both of them get done. End of story, in my opinion.
Yeah, I hope both get done. Jeff, you're absolutely out of your fucking mind for wanting Za'Darius Smith over Alex Anzalone. I think we make a big deal. They're not to the same level, but we make a big deal about how Frank Ragnow is gone, and a huge part of that is the communication. Alex Anzalone is the best communicator on that defense. He's the captain of that defense, and he's the cog in the engine. Alex Anzalone is probably, I would say, outside Vane Hutchinson, I say this all the time, the most important part of that defense. Brian Branch, Kirby Joseph, those players are better. They're more talented. DJ Reed, Terran Arnold. There's multiple players that are more talented than Alex Anzalone. But I would say, I know PFF, the garbage they put out their linebacker list and had Alex Anzalone outside of a top 30 linebacker. I don't give a damn what anybody says. Alex Anzalone, especially when healthy, playing at his best, is a top 15 linebacker in the NFL. He's one of the best linebackers against pass coverage, very good against the run stuff, coming up and stopping the run, and he applies pressure on the quarterback. If you take Alex Anzalone off this team right now and you insert Za'Darius Smith, if you're telling me that teams are not just going to be like, oh, attack the second level, attack the second level, attack the second level, to the point of Malcolm Rodriguez coming back after injury, you're relying on Derek Barnes and Jack Campbell. That's who you're relying on. You're going to go try to get Jermaine Pratt? Jermaine Pratt cannot do half the things that Alex Anzalone does. The way that Alex Anzalone plays, he's 30 years old right now, 31, 32, whatever he is, and he's playing like he's 28. He's playing the best football of his career right now compared to a guy in Za'Darius Smith who's very good, but there's no question Alex Anzalone right now is a better linebacker than Za'Darius Smith is at the defensive end spot. You lose Alex Anzalone, you're losing a huge part of this defense on the field and then getting this defense set up and in the locker room. I just think he's one of those culture guys that you can't put a number on how important he is, both with the headset on and on the sidelines. Like, there's no way, in my opinion, you can look at Alex Anzalone and be like, yeah, we can win a Super Bowl without this guy this year.
This is where I'm coming from with it. All right. What you said about Anzo is not incorrect. But you talked about, well, if we don't have Anzo, they're going to attack the second level. Well, if you have Josh Pascal starting at edge, they're going to attack the second and third level. So that's the problem I'm having too. Is like, if you're not getting pressure, I don't give a shit who's playing. All right. I really don't. It doesn't matter. You can have freaking, Ray Lewis out there. Okay. It would make you better. But if you can't get pressure, all those guys are toast.
Wait, Jeff, can I ask you a question with your point?
Hold on. Well, my thing is when you talk about Super Bowl teams, linebacker is an important position. But when you go through Super Bowl teams, you're naming off very good linebacker, but you're not talking about like, every team has usually two elite linebackers. Like you can bring up a very good linebacker on most Super Bowl teams, but like, Can you name the second one? I mean, you can name defensive linemen.
You can. Eagles, you can. Patriots, you could. Rams, you probably
when the Bucs won with Tom Brady, Levante David, who was the other one?
And Devin White.
Yeah.
Devin White,
a top 5 overall pick in his prime. Devin White was a fucking dude.
That was a bad example, Jeff. I'll just throw that out there. That was a really tough example.
All right,
that was a tough example.
Devin White, who's cut right now, but I think
Devin White was
at that point he was good.
Yeah, he was fine then. My point being is if you can't get pressure, I don't care about that. Like, it doesn't really matter too much to me.
Absolutely, but if
Davenport's hurt,
of your defense,
I'll tell you this. If Jack Campbell is on your roster playing extremely well, which we all think he will, right? Correct. You said, Boone, he could be all pro potentially this year.
He will be.
So if you have an all pro linebacker, I think you're fine at linebacker. Like I think you're fine. You got an all pro linebacker.
Jeff.
If Derek Barnes can play Will. Okay, throw out someone at Sam then and figure it out. But if you have Za'Darius, you said it best, Boone. I'm using top 5 D line. So if I agree,
but let me ask you a question.
If I have a top 5 D line with Za'Darius and I have an all pro linebacker, I'm looking at this defense going, I like it.
Okay. Right. No. Let me ask you a question. Last year, before Aiden Hutchinson goes down, Was that defense not getting pressure?
Before Hutch went down, or you said with Hutch? You talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, they were getting
no.
Hutch was getting pressure, yes.
Yeah, but that D line, they were able to. That defense was good. That defense was top 10 in the NFL, solidified with Aiden Hutchinson healthy. Why not run it? Why not run it back with that defense if you didn't have a choice? Like if you had to, with Anzo there and Davenport there healthy.
You told me that when Anzo got hurt, they were like people.
No, I did not say that. See, that's where you're putting. No, time out. This is the argument we had where you were putting words in my mouth.
I mean, look at what happened.
I did not say that. I said
you had Za'Darius.
I said Anzo got hurt and Jack Campbell. He was already playing at a very high level. No one noticed it because of Anzo, and Jack continued to play at a high level. And then when Anzo got back, they had a very good game, and it looked like that Anzo was the biggest reason. Which I did say for a while. Outside of his play on the field, his leadership and kind of vocally in that defense, it meant a lot. And that was a fact. But
shouldn't Jack be there in year 3 or else he's not worth the first round?
He is. He's already there. Just because I get what you're saying. Jack's already the better linebacker at the end of the day. So I understand what you're saying, but it doesn't hurt to have that other guy, like a guy at the level of Alex Anzalone. And especially when Anzo's there, yes, Jack can be the green dot. Jack can be the leader. He can be the voice. But you have a guy like AG had brought the example up last year. Like he was one of the best players that he's ever seen in the NFL, calling out coverage or coverages, audibles, what the quarterback's doing, and going back and forth with the quarterback. That's something that guys in year 5, year 6, year 7, when they start to really become all pros, that they start getting it. That's not something a linebacker in year 3 figures out. That's something. It isn't though. That's something to where like those vets. No, that's where you're a little mistaken.
First round picks, Booner, go back first. If you're a first round
level of play. Jeff, stop real quick. You're thinking of 2 different things. You're thinking of level of play, and I'm talking about reading the game and reading quarterbacks. AG said it himself that linebackers sometimes they take time to where you're able to read offenses at an extremely a Hall of Fame level. And he said Anzo got to that level that he hasn't seen before outside of a Hall of Fame linebacker that he's worked with. I'm not saying play on the field. I'm not saying that Jack can't be a guy that calls those out. I'm talking about at the level that Anzo was doing it at, that they, in that building, those guys that have been in the NFL for 20, 25 years coaching and playing said, hey, we've only seen one other linebacker in the NFL that's able to call plays out against a quarterback.
Do you think it's helped that Jack's been with him for 2 years?
For sure. But again, this is why I was telling you to stop. I didn't mean to be rude. I apologize. But it was just more so it's like, yes, there's linebackers who can get to that level at year 2, year 3. But when it comes to reading offenses and being at that level that Anzo's at breaking down plays in the middle of a game, dude, it could take Jack another year or 2 to even get to that level. And it's helped Jack with Anzo in that building for sure. But it takes time for that to happen.
You remember how we always talk about the defense from last year with the injuries? What do you bring up? 3rd down, points per game. Who was the Mike when Anzo was out commanding that defense?
This is a weird position that you're putting me in because all of a sudden now, somehow you've taken a jump over to my side with Jack, and a couple weeks ago you were completely off that, and now you're on my side. So I'm really confused with you right now, Jeff.
But I'm using my thing though with the whole Jack Campbell situation. How many linebackers on the field at one time? No, most of the time, unless you're on a nickel, 3. Yeah, you're gonna have a Will, you're gonna have a Sam, you're gonna have a Mike.
Yeah.
How many defensive ends are on the field at one time? 2. It's gonna be so. We talk about Jack Campbell. You got Jack Campbell on the field. You have Aiden fucking Hutchinson. The argument you're using for Jack Campbell, use for the defensive end spot, and use it for Aiden Hutchinson, and see who comes behind Aiden Hutchinson. Pause versus who comes after Jack Campbell and Alex Anzalone. It's not even close. And we talk about the Lions run defense. Let's clear the situation. The Lions run defense, it's been top 5. If you add Za'Darius and you lose Alex Anzalone, it will not be top 5 because Jack Campbell's very good. But then when they have, we got Jack Campbell pinned up. You have Trevor Nowatzki there. Jermaine Pratt. Have you seen Jermaine Pratt move compared to Alex Anzalone?
Derek Barnes can play.
Derek Barnes. Okay.
I actually don't hate the idea of if Anzo doesn't show up this year, that
Derek Barnes at Will. Jack and Mike.
Barnes did it for a while and was not bad at all. He was, and
it was Derek Barnes at the level of Alex Anzalone right now. No, it is a drop off.
You already know that without Anzo. It's not like you have you have another linebacker ready to replace everything. But I think Jack, you know what? I can't believe now I'm like pro Jack. This is ridiculous. The guy's ready.
Come to my side, Jeff.
No, you should be on my side.
No, Jeff, I don't think you understand.
I'm surprised that you didn't say Za'Darius because of Jack, because of how ready.
The only it has nothing to do with Anzo and Jack. What it has to do with is the depth at linebacker. The depth at linebacker compared to edge to me is just with no Rodrigo worries me.
Guys, we
talk
about Davenport because we're so scared of what's.
But I think outside of I think you have Davenport, Ahmed, AQM, Josh Pascal, Levi. Oh, like you can work with that. You don't have what options do you have at linebacker outside of Derek Barnes right now, and in Nowaski, but outside of D Barnes, who like genuinely, Jeff? What if one goes down again?
Which will happen.
You're going to have, so this is what you do.
That's my only issue. It has nothing to do with, I think Jack's the best line. I think, again, he'll be an all-pro linebacker. He's better than Anzo already. My argument isn't the side of, hey, you're going to really, like, Anzo's the best in that room. No, he's the second best in that room. My argument is just the depth in the rooms. That's it. I don't think that's that crazy of an argument at all.
Especially, man, you have somebody put in the chat. You have Noah Lee McNeil for the first half of the season. Alex Anzalone is so valuable to this defense. It's a shame that this is the conversation we're having right now.
Guys, and I think this is where I think people are. I'm not arguing with any points you're making about his value, what he brings. I'm arguing that if we're choosing between Za'Darius Smith or Anzalone, I feel Jack Campbell is more than ready to take over that role. Everything you describe, everything you're describing that you're going to miss with Anzo, Jack is going to provide that. If he does
I agree with that.
Ding, ding, ring the alarm in a bad way. If he's not ready to be the Mike linebacker, call things at the line of scrimmage, make adjustments, tap on guys, make sure they're in the right spots.
Okay.
Then it's a waste pick. It's a wasted pick if he can't do that. So Jack is fine. I think Jack is going to take over that role. If we're talking,
so we agree with that, me and you.
If we're talking, we're on the same page for this.
So you see where I'm coming from in my argument here, that it's just the depth. I look at the depth on the edge deeper right now than the linebacker. That's it. I don't think it's much more than that.
In a situation where you don't have Anzalone, I think you can potentially you can make it work with Derek Barnes. If you got to have fucking Trevor Nowaski play Sam. Fine. But if you're getting pressure with Za'Darius, Aiden, Tyleek, Aleem, DJ, Davenport, you're suffocating quarterbacks. And you know what we're going to be saying every time we do watch parties? Another sack. There's going to be no, here we go, boys. Guy was sitting in the pocket for 9 seconds. Oh, another completion.
You know what? I want to switch just because of Trevor Nowaski. I'm almost on that where it's just like, give me Trevor Nowaski. It's like the Iguodala.
And I don't want to discredit Anzo. I just think the importance of and I guess it's more so my lack of confidence in Davenport. Also, and I know Klotz is in a tricky one because he loves Anzo and also does not like Davenport, so he's probably in a pickle here too. Okay, then roll out with Davenport, Klotz. I'll see you week 7. And then I don't want to hear you bitching when Davenport goes
let's
down.
do this. Let's roll out with Derek Barnes. And then when he gets hurt week 7 and you only have Jack Campbell as your linebacker, here comes Josh Jacobs. Here comes Josh Jacobs. And now it's Josh Jacobs one-on-one with Trevor Nowaski and Kirby Joseph behind him. Oh, play action to Tucker Kraft. Who's going to cover him? Tucker Kraft covered. Jaden Reed's right there. The inside of this defense, when the interior of the defensive line comes to stopping the run, will be great. But you know what? When they start doing play actions and quarterbacks start rolling out of the pocket, because you know what? There's some really good fucking quarterbacks in the league that it doesn't matter who's the pass rusher. Sometimes it does when it's Aiden Hutchinson, TJ Watt, Myles Garrett, those guys. When they break out of the pocket, who's the guy that's always there to save the day? And if he's not there, he's right behind him. It's Alex Anzalone. Every play, Alex Anzalone is around the ball. And we're saying like, oh, Jack Campbell can step up to replace Alex Anzalone. Who's replacing Alex Anzalone? We're going to talk about Derek Barnes in pass coverage?
No.
Is that what we're going to Trevor Nowaski in pass
would
coverage?
Replace Anzalone. Who would replace Jack?
No, Jack's already replacing. Okay, so Anzalone. Jack is now in front of him. Alex Anzalone's LB2. So Derek Barnes is LB3. That's
you paid him to be LB2 though. To be fair.
You paid him to be LB2. You have confidence in Derek Barnes' pass coverage.
I mean, he had a pick against Baker in the playoffs.
Okay. Did you see? So you're saying you have confidence in Derek Barnes in pass coverage. Okay. Do you have confidence in Trevor Nowatzki in pass coverage? Ben Neiman, Malcolm Rodriguez.
I think they'd have to get by.
I would like to say Josh Jacobs versus the Lions twice last year. 2 catches, 13 yards. Trevor Nowatzki, Jack Campbell.
Hey, I mean, it's just.
I'm saying running the ball though. Open.
Oh,
Josh
defense. Oh no, give me Trevor Nowatzki. Give me Derek Barnes.
I like better players closer to the ball. That's just kind of I want more talent closer to the ball. I want to suffocate quarterbacks. That's how I guess my mindset is. Love Anzo, but I think Jack's more than capable of taking over that role.
So when they run the ball, let's say Aiden Hutchinson's on the right side of the ball. When they run to the right side of the ball, who's going to be around the ball? Alex Anzalone. When they run to the left side of the ball, away from Aiden Hutchinson, who's going to be there? Alex Anzalone. When they run up the middle,
Jack Campbell.
Who's going to be there? But as well, Alex Anzalone. When they go into pass coverage,
Campbell's going to be there.
I can't, Klotz, I was on your side for a bit. I can't let you sit here and just degrade what Jack Campbell is. He's better than Alex Anzalone. Let's not.
Jack Campbell has nothing to do with the.
But you're using him as an example here.
These guys aren't going to be playing on the field at the same time. I'm talking about the conversation. I've already admitted since the day Jack Campbell got drafted and was fighting with both of you about it last year. I think Jack Campbell takes over that LB room in year 3. I've already admitted that. I'm staying on course with that. So now we're clear that I'm talking about Alex Anzalone. He makes way more of an impact on the football field than Za'Darius Smith would. And you're talking about pass, run, red zone, everything.
Well, we can disagree to disagree. Z-Man, come on. All right, Anzo.
You know what the thing is this argument, Jeff Klotz? You guys are getting all worked up for this, and see, I'm over here smiling. I'm having a good time. Want to know why? Because they're both going to be a Detroit Lion.
More of a
so it's like the argument. It's a hypothetical you guys are getting worked up about, where it's like I can just sit here and grin in the back of my head, and I know week 1, Alex Anzalone will be out on the field, and Za'Darius Smith will be out on the field across from Aiden Hutchinson, and we're going to have Jack and Anzo. And it's
by the way,
there's no worry. I'm not worried.
Hey, Klotz, don't sleep on Grant Stewart. I'm just telling you right now.
Oh, that man pulled that one out of nowhere.
Don't sleep on Grant Stewart. Don't sleep on him. Anthony Pittman, Ezekiel Turner.
Can't wait to see him.
Ezekiel Turner. That's a bit. It's really, let's just talk about Trevor Nowatzki at the end of the day. That's all that matters.
Yeah, T Nowask. He's out there too.
Nowatzki.
Nowatzki. Come on. All right. Hey, Dan did praise another edge rusher, or he did praise an edge rusher when he spoke to the media during OTAs, and we didn't get to talk about it, but he praised Ahmed Hassanein, talked very highly about the rookie. And I have the exact quote here. I want to pull up the graphic we made because, you know what, I like our graphics, which you can follow us, by the way, on X, official CT Pod. Follow us on Instagram, official CT Sports. But let me pull this up for you guys so we can actually react to it. But I think we got to get Corey back on, to be honest with you, to really talk about Ahmed, because OTA is kind of wrapped up. But the quote was, and I have it here. Let me pull this up so you guys can actually see it. But the quote from Dan was this. All right. I like his intensity. I like his urgency. He seems to be a pretty smart guy. And then he also did mention that we won't really see much during OTAs, but, closer to training camp and during training camp, you'll probably see a lot more and kind of know what you have in Ahmed Hassanein. But the thing I struggle with is I don't know. I think we've seen Brad take project. I don't watch that word. He's on a project, but players that are a little raw. Maybe that's the better word. A little raw. And I think Ahmed, is fair to say, he's a little raw. And even Dan, I think Dan literally used that exact term. He's raw. We've seen guys that are raw take about a year to really integrate into the system and be productive on the side of the ball in which they play. I'm not talking about special teams. I'm talking about if he's a defensive player, offensive player. there's a part of me that does think that Ahmed Hassanein, you won't really see fully what he can do until I think year 2. And that's where I'm kind of leaning.
Oh,
Yeah. So I, as much as I think it's right, rightfully so to be hyped about the player, we just got to wait to see. And you know what? I guess the other side of that would be maybe during training camp, he just absolutely dominates and proves everything wrong about that entire theory that raw players, the Lions bring them along slower, develop them. Maybe training camp, he just wrecks everything. And he's like, well, this guy's ready. But in terms of where I'm at right now, fellas, I think he's a player you're probably going to see more of in year 2.
I do think
defensive end.
I think that's fair. I think my thought process with Ahmed is I agree how Brad, and you hear the comments that, hey, he's raw and he's out there learning right now. I am interested, like you said, to hear what Corey, how things might be going with him in camp, the confidence level, all of that, because it is a pretty big, we all know, like, going from college football to the NFL is a tough jump. And obviously Boise isn't like playing in the SEC, but at the end of the day, in my opinion, like, I think if you just have talent and if you just have that like raw, like that go-getter mentality, and that was kind of the sense that I spoke with you guys about when he did get drafted. We made that bet was if Ahmed does get an opportunity, I don't see a world where he doesn't lose out on that opportunity and take advantage of it. And I still believe in that. And I do think like this offseason's big for him just to be in there, just working with guys, feeling out the game. The speed of the game is going to be completely different. Preseason is going to be huge for Ahmed. And yeah.
Oh, there you go, Boone.
Oh, I think his mic. I think your
mic. Can you boys hear me now?
Yeah, you're good now. You're good.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, I just think like, in my opinion, all right, I'm back on track here. I got to dial it in because I was in the zone right there. I just think though, when you look at Ahmed, I think like the preseason, all of that, the development's going to be huge for him. It might not be until week 8, week 12, week 13, but I do think when he does get on the field, and they feel he's ready, because I don't see a world, if I'm being honest, to where if if Dan and Casey Rogers and Kelvin Shepard, if they don't think he's ready to contribute right away for the Lions in the regular season, I don't think they're going to throw him out there and just throw him out in the what is the saying, like out with the snake or something? Yeah, and just be like, go for it. I don't think that's going to happen. I think he's going to go in there when his time is ready. And it might, I don't know, Jeff, like with the Za'Darius Smith stuff, this is my problem. We made that bet, the 6 sacks, or what was it, 4.5, over 4.5, over 4?
Yeah, if he gets 4 sacks.
Am I muted?
No, you're not.
Okay, I'm being trolled. Okay, I think it's if he gets 4 or more sacks, I think I win.
Ryan got your ass.
He did. Shout out Ryan. If Za'Darius Smith is a Detroit Lion, I think that should be voided. Like, I think we should just cancel that bet at that point. And that's true.
We said it was gonna happen.
That's true though. If Za'Darius is in there, his role, no matter what, will, as a rookie, will be a little less. You know that until the next year, until it's time for him to step up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I think we should put
right.
I think it's like in any contract, legal binding, we should put like a void in there.
Legal binding. I mean, it's fair, man. I think Ahmed, he's a player that if he wasn't playing football for 5 seasons coming out of Egypt and he was playing at a bigger school, he'd be a probably day 2 pick. And he would be the level of like a JTT type of hype. Now, I know JTT is bigger, but if you just look at the production that he had, and you can just see he was more of a polished player, there would be a lot of hype coming about Ahmed, but he's got to find his way in the NFL. And I do think he gets on the field at some point. I don't think it really amounts to much in year 1, but I think that experience, just having it, will be valuable. Like, you're going to see him probably get on the field late in the season due to an injury or something of that nature, and he's not going to be getting a sack. Be like, oh, set the edge there. That's nice. Maybe he's going to ATK, a tackle for loss, anything. But I just think on the field, all you're trying to get for him is just to get his feet wet. Year 2, I think after they move on from Josh Pascal, that creates more of a role for him strictly on the edge. But between Pascal and Levi, both of those guys are playing for their NFL careers, in my opinion, as far as making money. If they go out this year and lay duds on 1-year deal with Levi, Josh on his last year, they're not getting paid big money next year, anything close to it. If they go out and have a nice season, that's a different story. But I think those two are going to give everything that they have. They're going to make life hard on Ahmed year one. But year two, I think that's when you start seeing the snowball effect happen, where he just stacks up good week, good week, good week, good game, good game, good game. Oh, good season. Year 2, year 3, year 4. He just becomes a better player.
Ryan said he's a Pascal's replacement.
I mean, yeah, Pascal, dude, was a second-round pick and has amounted to probably like 7, 8 sacks, if that even.
Hey, well, if he's ready to play, fellas. If Davenport goes down, he's ready to go. Don't even worry about it.
So is Nowoski or Quan Alexander, Jamal Adams. Remember those eras? Ezekiel Turner. They're ready.
What's happening with you two right now?
He tried to convert it back to the conversation.
Do you guys? I want to ask you guys a question. Does my camera keep changing my face white to red?
You were doing.
Yeah, we could just tell that.
But like right now, like when I look at my screen, my face just keeps turning red and then white.
You were hitting.
I don't know.
Light. You hitting the button on your light?
No, I'm talking about like right now. I just turned red and now I'm white again. And then watch, I'm gonna go red.
I don't notice anything. I don't notice. You literally look
red.
No, white. That's you.
Yeah, it's on you, but
you're just making faces in the camera. Oh, geez.
It's interesting.
Yeah, no, you're fine.
I don't know.
You're fine. JT said Booner might be ages high.
I'm good. Listen, it's a beautiful day outside. What's crazy is like, dude, we're doing this show like before. We would do shows from 8 to 10, and it would be dark the whole time. And it's getting to the middle of the summer. And I remember this last year, and it's just like light out. It's like I want to go out there and do something. I almost said I want to go out there and play. I want to go out there and like go for a walk. Yeah, I love being in nature a little bit. You know what I mean? It pumps me up.
Hey, can we do something fun? Can I ask you fellas who's under the most pressure on the Lions? Just give me a guy. It could be offensively, defensively. Who's under the most pressure for the Lions? Because for me,
I'll let you guys go first.
Yeah, I got one, and you could do this, guy. It could be anyone, guys, in the chat. It could be offensively, defensively. It could be coaches, management. I mean, whoever you want it to be. I think, in my opinion, the player that's under the most pressure is Terran Arnold.
Of the whole team?
Yep.
What?
Let me tell you this. I think it's Terran Arnold. And the reason why I'm saying that is because a couple reasons, actually. One of them, your first round pick from last year. It just so happens in the same class he was drafted in, there was a corner taking 2 spots in front of him that you didn't have to wait on. He was just very good right away. But then you understand that cornerback in the NFL, it is the hardest position to play besides quarterback. And it does take sometimes for some guys a year or two. So I'm more than willing to say, give him a year. But this is it, fellas. Like, I think this year is a little bit make or break for Terran Arnold, in my opinion. I think you want to see not only growth, but you don't want to see the lapses of last year where there's not moments, but stretches where you're like, okay, he's struggling, but that's okay. He's a rookie. He's not going to have, the leash won't be as long as it was last year, especially because they brought in DJ Reed. He's notably a cornerback 2. He could be a CB1. He can be. He's capable. But I think ideally Terran Arnold turns into that cornerback 1, and then you can have, a player like DJ Reed as your CB2. So if Terran Arnold this year is still having games, or not, I shouldn't say a game because he's human. He's going to have a bad game. But stretches or long periods of time where he's struggling, then I think we have to have a real conversation about that pick. I'm serious. I think we have to have a conversation.
Can I be honest? Terran's not even in my top 5 of the
That's
most
crazy.
Pressure.
Because we always mention with the defense that he's one of the big X factors, and that comes with pressure. He has to perform, in my opinion, because when you talk about players on that defense, your cornerback 2, you don't want your cornerback 2 to be someone that defenses look at and say, we're going to pick on that guy. Is that fair?
Yeah, that's fair. I think there's a lot of individual pressure on Terran. So if you want to take that route, don't hate it. I think it applies there. I'm more so looking at it as far as like pressure for the Lions to succeed. Like if the Lions want to win a Super Bowl, this has to happen. This player has to perform this way. This coach has to go out there and perform at this level. And I'm not going to go the Dan Campbell, Jared Goff route. Can if you want. I'm going to go the guy that pretty much it starts with before them. That I think through all this change, through all this turmoil the Lions went through off this season is going to impact the most, and it's Penei Sewell. Now, when I say pressure on Penei Sewell, that doesn't mean, Penei's got to go out there so he gets paid. Penei's got to go out there so he gets his first All-Pro. When I look at, you lost Ben Johnson, you lost Kevin Zeitler, you lost Frank Ragnow. If Penei Sewell is not the best offensive tackle in football, along with all those things going on, kiss Lions Super Bowl chances goodbye, in my opinion, like completely. And I think Penei goes out there and does that. But if Jared Goff, like people are talking about, Jared Goff's going to have a lot of pressure on him, as he should. He's the quarterback one. Dan Campbell is going to have a lot of pressure on him, as he should. He's the head coach of this team. If Penei Sewell does not go out there and execute, both those guys are going to be miles behind of where they should be. So when I look at Penei Sewell right now, I think there's a lot of pressure on him strictly to perform because you're going to have a rookie in there with Christian Mahogany, with Tate Ratledge. You're going to have a new face in there with Christian Mahogany for a 17-game season. He's been in there with the Bears, but you got to play more than the Bears now. And you have Graham Glasgow sliding right next to him. So it's a completely different situation. You just lost another All-Pro in Frank Ragnow. Penei Sewell has to be the best offensive tackle in football because we see players, I know it's a different position, but like Quentin Nelson comes out, historical type of pace, and then you see him out. That doesn't look like Quentin Nelson. He's still a good guard, really good guard, but he's not the best guard in football. If Penei Sewell is not that, going to be a tough road. If we got to see Penei Sewell every week just look like the best tackle in football.
With all due respect to both of you, what was the question you asked, Jeff? I just want to. Okay. When I hear question, and this is to both of you guys, because neither of those guys, I might not even put neither of them in my top 7 or top 10 of most pressure. Maybe I'm Mike O'Terion because
no, Booner.
No, I'm Mike. Let me hear me out for a second because maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I don't understand the question that is being asked. No. Maybe I don't understand. It's not pressure. It's who's under the most pressure this season for the Detroit Lions. You didn't put to perform in there. Nothing. To me, and Klotz, like you said it, it's obvious. You're like, it's obvious. Jared Goff did. The question's who's under the most pressure. The most pressure is the obvious answer. There's 2 guys, in my opinion, that everything runs through. Number 1, and you can have this guy at number 2 or number 1, and you can have my number 2 at number 2 or number 1. It's Dan Campbell, and it's Jared Goff. You're talking about Jeff. Let's talk about what Campbell? Hold on. What is football all about? You win and die from your head coach, and you lose and win from your head coach. That's a fact. If Dan Campbell is out there and they're not winning football games and they lose throughout the playoffs, who does that fall on? It always falls on the coach. And if it's not the coach, who does it fall on? It falls on the quarterback, Jared Goff, the guy who threw 3 or 4 interceptions and had 4 or 5 turnovers in the final game of the season last year. I understand what you're saying. Terrion has a ton of pressure to take a step forward.
Not top 10 worthy, though.
Okay, I'll give you top 7. I did my list here. But to me, it's on any football team, any team, your head coach, if you win, he gets 0 credit. And if you lose, it's all the credit on your head coach. And then for your quarterback, especially for Jared Goff, when Jared Goff is playing well, he gets no credit in this city. People don't give the man enough credit when he's playing well. But when he plays bad and he loses you games, it all falls on him. If anyone on this team should have the most pressure, it's your quarterback. The question is who has the most pressure, not, hey, who do we think we wanted to get a wild card pick? No, it's who has the most pressure. We can all have the same answer and say Jared Goff because that's what it is.
Because Jared Goff's fine.
And that's what it is. And I think your quarterback, your head coach, and then to me, what's one thing, Klotz, you've been preaching about? Let's say we're doing our top 5. I'm just going to do this because I said both of you guys aren't in my top 5.
Top 7. I want your 7.
No, I'll just do top 5 because Terrion, you know what? If you want to throw Terrion on my 6, whatever. I do think I agree. The corner. No, the corner. Yeah, as you say, the corner is a big piece, especially in this division. But to me, like we've been preaching, what's the biggest reason, Klotz, you think this team takes a step back? Coordinators, Johnny Morton taking over for Ben Johnson. How is that not even mentioned over a Penei Sewell? To me, Penei has 0 pressure because we know Penei Sewell is going to perform. He has never not performed for you. He will be an first team all-pro tackle. You know that. He has no pressure. Kelvin Shepard taking over a defense with Aiden Hutchinson, and they need to go win a Super Bowl. First-year coordinator. And the other guy, to me, that people aren't going to bring up and talk about, this guy, Tate Ratledge, as a rookie, stepping in potentially for center behind for Frank Ragnow. That's the most important position outside of quarterback. Is either exactly. Imagine how much pressure on a rookie to step in at center, Jeff. This isn't. It has nothing to do with how well you play. It has to do with stepping into a Super Bowl roster and being your starting center, taking over for the second best center in the NFL.
But they're not going to expect him to be Frank Ragnow.
You're not expecting it, but that's pressure. That's what pressure is.
Yes.
I think you have it wrong. You're not looking at what you're actually saying. I don't think you understand the question.
No, I understand it completely. Pressure, as in, if they don't perform, scrutiny will be there. Tate Ratledge, I promise.
No. Yes, but also even to live up to expectations, not just if you don't perform. To me, it's Tate Ratledge is stepping into a player who is just all-pro, 3-time all-pro over the last 7 years. That's a lot of pressure. That's the most important position outside of quarterback on your offense, and he potentially is stepping into that.
But what? So you think Tate Ratledge, people have a shorter leash with him when it comes
Listen,
to
you're living and dying by that. I'm with you. If you want to throw Tate, if you want to throw Terrion at 6, I will. Okay, that's interchangeable. I'm right there with you.
Even
that's fine. I just think, in my opinion, a rookie, Jeff, you can't deny this. A rookie stepping in at center is way more pressure than a year 2 corner being a year 2 corner at CB2. Like there's more pressure being the starting center as a rookie.
Supposed to be your CB1 at some point.
Yes, I agree. But the next year he's your CB2. You're talking about a rookie stepping in as your starting center over a rookie or a second-year guy who's supposed to just be your CB2. Like, break that down real quick. I'm about
confused. As much as you've agreed that Terrion Arnold is under a ton of, like, we agree that it's like make or break. Now it's shocking that he's in the conversation for under the most pressure.
What are you talking about? I didn't say shocking. I'm still on the same thing as you.
Well, you said not in your top 10. Now he's top 7. Now he's top 6. So you've moved him up as we continue to talk.
I'm just saying it's fair. I think it's fair that Terrion's in the conversation.
Oh, now it's fair.
I would still take. All right, you're trying to argue. Listen, just take it and run with it. Don't try and argue it. You got me to switch a little bit here.
But I actually have a problem with the Dan Campbell one. I think Dan Campbell is
he's a coach, dude.
But that's
your coach, dude. If you're the head coach, you always have the most pressure, especially if you have high expectations.
Let's be real though. Like if they go out and win 11-6 and they win a playoff game and then lose, people are going to be pissed at Dan. Okay, he's still one of the greatest coaches in franchise history.
Agree, but he's still expected to put. But no, Jeff, people are still expecting him to win a Super Bowl. Like that's still expectations.
Yes, but yes, that is
the longer you go without winning a Super Bowl, the more pressure that gets put, and you're sitting there and you're going, especially coming off the bat of losses. Listen, I'm not going to argue the semantics with the Dan Campbell. He's at the top of the list for most pressure. There's no arguing that.
But that's insane.
Not at all.
That's insane. For the most pressure to perform, you're looking at Dan Campbell.
If the team is bad, it falls on one guy and one guy only. It's your head coach.
Which is fair. I think
he hired the coordinators. If the coordinators are bad, who gets the hate for it?
There's
the head
pressure
coach.
And there's most pressure.
Yeah, okay. That's why Jared Goff is. I would put Jared Goff number 1
and number 2.
I would go. Yes, I think your head coach is always going to have the most pressure.
Campbell. Number 1 or number 2.
Your head coach is always going to have pressure. He is like that. That's what it is. Your quarterback and head coach.
He's under pressure. Then
they've won a Super Bowl. Dan Campbell has not. There's a big difference.
Any other coach that hasn't won a Super Bowl that's had.
Kyle Shanahan, is he under pressure?
I mean, kind of.
Unless you win a Super Bowl, but unless you win, they're not. I'm not. The question isn't moving on. It's pressure. Unless you win a Super Bowl, there's pressure until you do, especially for contender.
Dan Campbell, it has pressure, but the most pressure.
I think he's in the top 5. I think he's there. Yes.
Now he's top 5. You said 1 or 2.
Oh, we're going semantics here, dude. Come on now.
Well, I'm just making sure where he's ranked. I mean, 1 or 2 for Dan.
When in the last 2 years you lose in the NFC Championship game, you lose in the divisional round the way you did, and you lose both of your coordinators, and you had to hire 2 new coordinators. There's pressure there, man. Like you're the head coach, you're the one in the building making decisions, and if this season goes bad, it's all gonna fall on him. That's it. And again, it's going to fall on Jared Goff. It's going to fall on him. And then there's going to be those other guys like the coordinators, or if Terrion had a bad year.
Every single NFL team, it's who's under the most pressure. It's always quarterback and head coach. You cannot argue any other player.
I agree. That's why I have him at the top of my list. No, I think contending teams, it comes down to why do head coaches at even contending teams get fired? It happens all the time.
Yes, I know.
Why did Doug Peterson get fired after winning a Super Bowl? The pressure. You're under pressure at your job.
But again, then fine. Honestly, then every team, it's just head coach and quarterback. Then fuck it.
I think this line, it doesn't have to be every team. Like obviously, Andy Reid doesn't, because he's got it done, and you trust him.
Team that doesn't have a Super Bowl, it's head coaching.
Yeah, I think the head coach is typically and if you're a contending team, and like Nick Sirianni last year. Jeff, they went to a Super Bowl 2 years ago. No, they went
got fired. He almost.
But he went to a Super Bowl. Yes, and why? Why? Because he hired two bad.
Dan ain't getting
Jeff.
Fired.
Why can you hold on? Why can you guys, when we talk offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator, when you guys bring up the example of the Eagles and how those coordinators didn't work out, and it fell on him, and he ends up turning around hiring good ones? Why can you guys use that for the Dan Campbell hiring these two OC and DC? But I can't say he's under some of the most pressure on the team for those hires and making sure this season goes well. Just like Nick Sirianni 2 years ago after he lost his coordinators, and they lost it. They lost in the Super Bowl, and their expectations in that city was to win a Super Bowl. And until he got the job done, what were the fans and the people saying constantly? He was always under pressure. In my opinion, until Dan Campbell and the Lions win a Super Bowl, that pressure is going to keep mounting up, and it's going to keep building, and it will build and build until there is a Lombardi Trophy in Detroit, and that's it. I don't think it's that hard, honestly, to think. And it's not me going at Dan. I love Dan. He's my favorite coach of all time. But I just think it's just I just think at the end of the day, it's just really just more so. It's just, hey, he's the head coach, man. Everything falls on him. It's just, that's how it is, in my opinion.
Remember, we always have this conversation. Players are going to make plays, right?
Agreed. But again, so I think it's just always in the media and everything and fans. It will, whether the players make plays or not, it will always fall on the head coach, which to me, that creates the pressure, man. That creates a lot of pressure. And by the way, too, Will in the chat, no one said hot seat. Let's not say hot seat at all. No one is saying he's even close to the hot seat. That's the farthest thing I'm saying. We're saying under the most pressure when it comes to this season. Dan is the farthest away from the hot seat than any coach in the NFL. Yeah, like him and Andy Reid. The hot seat is such a different. I just think it's a pressure to win a Super Bowl, man. You got to get the job done, and it's like
I think there's pressure. I just don't think he's like one or two on the Lions. There's so many. Like I think you can bring up like Graham.
I would put most coaches. I would put most coaches.
I think honestly, Graham is under more pressure than Tate. I would say.
That's fair. I actually was going to write him down over Tate.
So like we can.
Yeah, that's fair.
You know, like I think there's players that are under pressure, but I get it.
Yeah, well, Etienne said pressure and hot seat are just different things. Pressure is just like, man, going into the season, like you just hired two new coordinators, man.
No,
you have a whole new offense, new defense. Like this is, and if you end up winning 10 games and losing in round one again, you're not on the. I'm still not putting Dan on the hot seat, but man, that was a disappointing season. See, and that only falls on one guy and one guy only. That's your head coach. You're bringing up
Nick Sirianni. He was on the hot seat, man. That's why it's a bad example.
Yeah, I always see. That's where I was a little different. Is I never would have even thought of Nick Sirianni on the hot seat. My own opinion.
They gave him
the fans.
Fired.
I agree, but I like Nick Sirianni. I never thought Nick Sirianni should have been.
But you brought him up. That's why I would be like,
that's
the greatest example because.
Yeah, I guess so.
Like people were like, this guy can't coach. You know what I mean? And then he won a Super Bowl.
I always just thought Nick Sirianni was a really good coach, and I kind of looked at him as a Dan Campbell, to where he is a culture guy, and he was a good head coach as well. And I think that he had a lot of pressure on him. I never would have even put him close to the hot seat. If their fans did, okay, that's on them. But it's just the pressure at the end of the day. To me, I think most coaches, when you get in a position of a contending team. And I don't want people to think look at this as a bad thing. To me, pressure is a good thing. That means you're good. But I think you do like Sean McVay before he won with Matthew Stafford. Like that man, he was never on the hot seat, but just a lot of pressure. Like you have that pressure.
All right. Well, we got a guest waiting. I think he's waiting. I think he actually just went. We have Raj joining in a couple of minutes, so I want to get Raj in here so we could talk some Tigers baseball. Let's go to the people. I know people didn't like my my Za'Darius take from earlier, but we also have a MP. MP actually donated some money. MP, thank you for the $2. Since whoever's playing center has the most pressure.
Can we just clear it up too? By the way, no hot seat, Dan Campbell.
Yeah,
I don't. There's a big difference between being under pressure and hot seat. Like Jared Goff has a lot of pressure. I want him as our quarterback for the next 3 years. There's no hot seat at all.
See, I guess I looked at it like pressure. Like if Terran Arnold looks like last year, then we have like I mean,
we just look at it differently, which now I understand why.
You know what I mean, that's
Makes
why
sense,
I'm like,
yeah.
But MP, thank you for the $2. He says whoever's under center plant has most pressure. MP also says Woodward Sports under the most with these wild takes. Shout out MP. Shout out Easy and the boys too, man. I don't know what's going on.
Cool.
I don't know what take your reference.
I did see a take today, Flannel. I love Flannel, but he did say Jair Alexander, bring him in and let him play, take snaps away from TA. I thought that was a little
all
crazy.
right. Let's bring in Raj. I shout out Flannel. I got to text him. That's ridiculous. Yeah. All right, Raj.
Here we go.
Talk some Tigers baseball with him, man. He joins the show actually quite frequently, and we lean on him for our Tigers coverage. Does some great work. Check him out as well. Raj, how are you doing, my friend?
You know, gentlemen, the future's looking good right now. I mean, it's I'm pulling a Scott Bentley here. Shout out to Scott Bentley, who would he had the shades on for a while, and they're 20 games over 500. They're 44-24. They just won.
Yes.
They got it done. Some pressure packed innings. I know you guys were talking about pressure, and there is a lot of pressure on the rookie center, by the way. It's only a football nugget I'll drop, but no, look, the Tigers got it done tonight, and they just continue to roll on. And a stat I want to drop for you guys tonight too as well. Erie, first place. That's AA affiliate. They won tonight. West Michigan, they're about to win. They are also in first place. They're going to potentially clinch a playoff berth this week. Lakeland lost. That's the single A affiliate. They are in first place, but they're still might clinch a playoff spot. So three, and the Tigers included, 4 potential postseason berths among the Tigers organization. Diddy's glasses during the trial. Wow, man, come on, man. I don't got that. I got hand sanitizer. I don't got lube. Come on, man. Jeez, oh, Pete. All right.
Hey, Raj, I mean, the Tigers are buzzing, man. I mean, we've been actually, we've been talking about a lot more Detroit sports teams. Obviously, the Pistons coming off a playoff berth, but the Tigers, we know what they are. Best team in the AL right now. They're still at the best record. But I want your kind of thoughts. We had the conversation, last week, and we talked about it a little bit this week. Because I'm sure the boys will ask you individual questions, but I do want your thoughts on it, just big picture wise. Because we actually had the debate that started from more likely to win the World Series, the Tigers or the Lions winning a Super Bowl. What would be more likely? We all kind of agreed with the Tigers, just given how the landscape is. But when you talk about big picture and looking at this team as a contender, and they got back Parker Meadows, and they have so much depth, you look at the bullpen, the pitching staff, and all that stuff. When you're looking at the Dodgers, how do you think a team like this stacks up? Because Booner actually brought this up. The record against top teams, their series so far, they have 5-1 against pretty good teams this year in series. But when you talk about the Dodgers, the team that'll probably be in the World Series, what do you think of that matchup? And just kind of early thoughts on that.
Well, I think
and how they stack up.
Well, I think right now, the one thing about the Dodgers is it really depends what they're going to do in the trade deadline, because they are rumored to go after Luis Robert Jr., which would be a really good upgrade for them. But their pitching, they've just been getting injured upon injuries. But I mean, Shohei Ohtani is a one-man force. And so, but the NL, so, you look at the Padres too as a potential contender. I thought the Cubs played the Tigers really well this weekend. That was a very good, well-played series. And I think the Cubs are also a piece or two away from making that contention there too as well. But the Dodgers have those deep pockets, and the Cubs, despite how much they're worth, they're not going to spend that kind of money. And I don't think they're going to jeopardize their farm system too much, but it really depends on what Harris does at the trade deadline. Now, if you look at the stats across the board, Tigers are number 1 or top 5 in a lot of different offensive and pitching categories. That being said, you have the farm system at its deepest it's been in a long time. I still think they should go out and get another right-handed bat. A lot of people like Austin Riley with the Braves, and at playing third, and there's a lot of things you can do there. But honestly, I think right now, if they were to play the Dodgers right now, it was a stat too that we brought up last night on the podcast that the Tigers are one of the worst teams playing against curveballs. Ben Brown on Saturday was a prime example of that. So there's little things. I mean, we all can be happy about this. I'm not trying to nitpick but that's my job. Like, you 20 games over 500. What is there to look at? Be excited. Be happy. We're playing the meaningful baseball right now. That being said, there's just little things that I want the Tigers to hopefully tweak in order to get to that World Series standpoint.
Yeah, Raj, one thing that I've been interested in, and I actually told the guys the other day, reason I believe the Tigers can actually win the World Series is this pitching that they have. Obviously, they do have two guys, Reese Olson and Jackson Jobe, who are kind of out right now with injuries. Is there an update on those guys? I haven't really heard much personally about it. Do you have an update on the return of potentially some of these guys? I know Casey Mize, I believe I saw he's pitching tomorrow, actually. But with those other two, Jackson Jobe and Reese specifically, what are some updates on that in their health?
I know Olson's supposed to throw, I think, a bullpen, or I think either tomorrow or the day after. I'm not 100%, but I know he's throwing. He had his ring finger, and essentially because he's throwing his changeup more, I wanted to demonstrate. Essentially, when you're with your ring finger, you're putting that more pressure, and when that being said, that's I think caused the injury. So he's supposed to be throwing either tomorrow or tomorrow's Wednesday, right? Yeah. So
yep.
Yeah. So either tomorrow or Thursday. Jobe, there's no update for him as of yet. I don't think you're going to see anything until after the All-Star break, honestly, based off the arm fatigue. And he mentioned before the injury that he was pitching a lot more pressure innings. And so I think the Tigers are going to shelve him a little bit and let him heal and take all the time they want, because you look at Sawyer Gipson-Long tonight coming out there and shoving and doing what he's going to do. And, Alex Cobb, I'm going to go see him pitch tomorrow in Toledo, although Cobb doesn't look really 100% either. I mean, the hip looks in bad shape. Nevertheless, you might see some, who knows what we're going to see out of him. But either way, I think that for now, Olson will probably be back in hopefully by the end of the month. But Jobe, there's no word on him yet.
Okay. Man, the Jobe one, I'm just sitting there waiting for it.
Yeah, me too. And look, and the thing about Jobe is, if he's healthy come the second half of the year, that bodes better versus him kind of losing velocity like he was in his last start. And you want the Tigers pitching to be humming along more so in September and October versus now. I mean, I'm not really, again, I'm excited. The Tigers playing championship caliber baseball, and I think they will get far in the postseason. That being said, I'm still like, it's just the negativity. Not an activity, is just being realistic. Like Cobb, for example, Nick says here, the terrible signing. Watched him pitch against Western Michigan. It was cringy because he just was landing. He just couldn't even. There was instructions for him not to even run the first. So I do worry about that a little bit.
And Raj, somebody if you could enlighten me more on is Wenzel Perez, because when I'm watching him, at least at the plate, the man's been on fire. I watched him hit, I believe it was a double today. It was almost a homer, but then the stat popped up. 7 out of the 11 hits that he has have went for extra bases. So what's the impact that he's made so far on this team? And then going later in the stretch, what do you think the role and the impact that'll have for the rest of the season? As far as, yeah, he's not one of the star players from the defensive side of the ball, but he gives you something at the plate.
Well, I think defensively he's gotten a lot better playing the outfield. I mean, this is a guy who had the yips playing in the infield in the minor leagues, where a ball to second base, a simple, 20-foot throw, was struggling with. And now in the outfield, he's made an adjustment. I'm not saying he's like a plus defender or anything, but he can hold his own. If he can stay healthy, that's even better. And he is a guy who fits into what AJ Hinch wants to do, which is have position versatility. And the fact that he can play all 3 spots in the outfield is crucial. I mean, you look at Riley Green, you want to make sure he is healthy and stay healthy. And in Parker Meadows, it's going to take some time before he gets his bat going again. And so I think Perez is a guy who really is not only a guy who can hit for extra bases, but he also he's a really smart base runner too. And he does the little things well. And if you need him to do a bunt per se, he could do that too. And so I think he's going to be a big part of the second half and how Hinch gives the outfield rest, because Carpenter's also not 100%. He still has that sore hamstring to consider. And so there's just right now, Hinch is using the way that he's using that. Carpenter pinched hit tonight, but I'm glad that they're able to he uses his entire bench, and that's a good thing for the Tigers.
And Raj, too, the big thing with the Tigers, I think we can all agree they have to add to increase their chances of winning the World Series. But in your mind, I know Bichette was kind of tossed around. I mean, I saw that come out and people suggesting that idea. But in your mind, what do they need to address? And if you have a player that you think would be ideal to address with to a player to address to add to the Tigers, who would it be in your mind?
You know, I much, Ronald Acuna Jr., I saw that in the comments, and that would be great. But Austin Riley is a guy who I think for the Braves, I mean, if I'm having it my way, if I'm being completely 100% like doing like that whole fantasy, we always talk about, pie in the sky, fan-sided trades, like, that don't seem unrealistic or don't seem realistic, is a guy, Austin Riley, because he's a right-handed bat. He plays third base. He gets on base, and he provides. He's got a friendly contract, and he also can play left field. He's a 2-time Silver Slugger. He's a guy who's been able to. He's got World Series experience to him. I love for that to happen. I mean, and then Chris Brown. I got to give credit to Chris and Brandon. We talked about this last night. Chris Sale is under a deal right now, $18 million, and he's got a club option for next year. Cobb was only worth $15 million. I mean, look, in a pie in the sky, would the Braves get up Chris Sale and Austin Riley? No. But if the Tigers are willing to trade up prospect capital, who knows? But here's where I stop myself, because talking to Sky Harris, and just the philosophy of the front office, they want to get better on the fringes. The fringes is like the Pee Wee Herman keyword. Like every time you say that word, people scream that word in the front office, because they're going to look at somebody that's going to make them marginally better and look at them eternally. Would I like Chris Sale? Would I like Austin Riley? Absolutely. That would put you over the edge for sure, especially against a team like the Yankees, or even for that matter, whoever comes out of the West, whether it's Seattle or Houston. But those are the two names I really like a lot. Riley, especially because he's a guy who could really – the Tigers don't have, to me, a long-term solution at third base. I mean, Yace Young to me is, I don't know, like I like you've seen him come up. He hasn't really stuck around, so he hasn't, you're not sure what you have with him. Hai Lee is a guy who plays primarily second base. And then after that, it's just a drop off. I mean, they don't have a guy until low A, until Lakeland. Carson Rucker's a name I would come up with. And Bryce Rayner's out for the year, and he's playing short anyway. So right now, you want some sort of third base solution. The Tigers currently don't have one that they feel that. I mean, you've seen Cole Keith take third base reps again for the first time in a long time, and so we'll see what happens there. But if those are two names I really like to add.
Raj, can we have a little fun real quick? Can you give me your predictions on the Detroit Tigers players that will be in the All-Star game? I'm interested in this.
Oh man, Dylan Dingler, I mean, even Cal Riley is having a really good year in Seattle.
Yep.
But Dylan Dingler deserves some All-Star All-Star consideration. Put him on the bench, whatever you got to do. The guy has been defensively the best catcher in the American League. Offensively, he's just been a beast. And he's been just a guy who really has been a difference maker. I mean, you look at him and Jake Rogers as a catching duel. I mean, people are like, well, just trade Rogers. No, you don't need to trade Rogers when you have Dylan Dingler just throwing damn lasers yesterday. And honestly, like that's a guy who I really think should an All-Star game. Riley Green, Spencer Torkelson. Those are my three that deserves in there. And now, I mean, in terms of Tarek School, outside of Tarek School, of course, but Tigers should have like at least 3 or 4 All-Stars this year, because Riley Green, I mean, people complain about the 30% strikeout rate and all that, but the guy still continues to get the job done. And so I don't like, it's just, you can make a case also, maybe for Zach McKinstry too. I mean, if I'm being really homerish, you can make a case for him. He had a triple tonight. But there's only so much room, but those guys, especially Torkelson, 16th home run of the year tonight, came up clutch. But Dingler, 100%. Like it should be. It's so. If Cal Riley wasn't having, I mean, Cal Riley's having a career year, but Dylan Dingler's just right behind him.
And Raj, you brought up Scuba, and people are putting in the chat. I've been seeing a lot this week about the extension for Scuba. When is it going to be? A lot of people are saying, well, enjoy him while he's here because he's going to be a Yankee or Dodgers soon because the Tigers aren't going to extend him. They're not going to dish out that kind of money. What do you think the status is on a Scuba extension, Raj?
You know, it's hard because we don't know what this new front office regime outside of the Cole Keith extension is going to do. Now, you've been told that they have the money to do so and that they would. Are they going to? I don't know. They might do the Tampa Bay route when, you know, Tampa doesn't sign any pitchers over the age of 30. But Tarek Skubal is a once-in-a-generation lifetime talent. So the question is, but you have Scott Boras there. Scott Boras is going to push for the most amount of money out there. That's what he's going to do. And that's simply put a thing that's going to really drive the needle home for the Tigers is how much is Scott Boras going to ask for. And, you know, pay the man. To me, it's simple. Pay the man. Skubal, what he's doing with the strikeout to walk numbers is deep. You know, yeah. Cartier, they probably ain't signing Skubal, bro. They're probably not. But look, they should. But I mean, are they? I mean, no. They pay the man. Are they going to? I don't know. Well, he is just unbelievable kind of numbers, and he is the best. Him and, you know, there was somebody brought up for Verlander, and I kind of hated that already because like it's too early to compare to Verlander already. And the reason why I say that is because Verlander had some postseason experience under his route when he started becoming DJV. Give Skubal a little more time, then do the comparison. And you know, I don't know. Like I was stupid. Like Wilt Chamberlain versus LeBron James. Like they're two different damn fucking generational players. And you know, Verlander's a guy who's going to throw 200 innings, and Skubal's not, because that's not the way the game is played these days. So anyway, but I digress. I think the Tigers should pay him. Will they? We'll see. I mean, I just don't. I don't see them shelling that kind of money if they're continuing to develop pitching. And I know people are going to say, well, they're, you know, I'm just not going to stop watching the team. Look, the Tigers are going to be able to develop pitching pretty well. So don't give up on the Tigers for Chris Illich not being a cheap ass if he doesn't sign them. We'll see what happens. But they are very, very good at developing pitching as long as they keep this crew intact.
Give him that bag.
I have an idea. Raj. What if we did, as a fan base, we just said, hey, let's do a national buy a little Caesar's Pizza Day, and every single Detroit Tigers fan goes out there, buys one Little Caesar's Pizza, and we say, hey, Chris Illich, we just funded Tarek Skubal for you for the next 5 years. Get it done. I think we all just put money in, take the money, give it to Scoob.
Well,
we better become like the Packers and get ownership. I mean, now we should.
Yeah. I was just gonna say. I mean, I know the
ownership of this fucking thing. I mean,
I know. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I would want some owner. Yeah, I would want to say something on paper. It's like, look, I'm not saying that the Tigers are gonna find, you know, Ben Blue. How sure are we to find another Skubal? I'm not saying we will, but the Tigers have been able to develop pitching, and if they can continue to do that, I think they'll help them that. But as far as your idea goes, it's going to take a hell of a lot of fucking pizzas, man.
Lots of pizzas, but Rob, we gotta get it
it's
done.
also because, I mean, allegedly, you know, I know that Chris is also going through you know, he's going through some personal stuff too. So I'm not going to, whatever the case is with that, and that's not my business. But I think you also have to consider in mind, outside of Michigan, who's going to buy Little Caesars pizzas? I mean, you have your Chicago snobs who are going to be like, I'm not going to help Chris Illich. No way. People in New York, no way. I mean, if there's a Little Caesar in New York, are they really going to buy a pizza? No, they're going to complain about how they don't have New York slices at Little Caesars. That's what they do. Or LA, or people that live in LA, they're transplants from somewhere else that go, the pizza's not as good. I don't want Little Caesars. So if it's all Michigan, sure. But, you know, Little Caesars is not national. They got NFL money, man. They got NFL money. They can, you know, Chris Illich can do it. Come on.
Hey, you know what, Raj? Maybe the Little Caesars thing could work. No, I'm just kidding. No, I think
I might. You know what? I'm going to do the math. I'm going to try and calculate the math. Next time Raj is on, I'll have the math for him to see how many pizzas we need to sell for us to pay for Tarek Skubal.
I like that. You know,
stop being a cheap ass. We can just do that too.
Hey, well, I mean, look, hey guys, they spent money. Look, for all the bitching we want to do about Chris Illich, the man spent on Gleyber Torres, Tommy Cannell. They spent money this offseason. I mean, look, is it 1 or 2 year deals? Yeah, but they spent money and they made themselves better this offseason. If they don't have Gleyber Torres in this lineup, this team is floundering right now. Gleyber Torres has been a very good free agent signing. So and people can bitch all they want. But I mean, look, I've never been a Chris Illich apologist, but I mean, they spent a little bit of money. Now what they need to do is make that trade. What Harris needs to do is make that trade.
There we go.
And that's what it is. That you can spend all you want, but if you're not going to trade your you don't do what Baltimore's doing right now. Look at Baltimore right now. They kept all their prospects, and what are they getting out of it? Nothing. All their pitchers are on the IL right now. They're floundering in the AL East, a division that they were this team was Baltimore was built with prospects galore. They're on every single damn magazine cover. Baltimore does have cool hats. Well, you know what? Look, their cartoon hats fine. They're not as cool as the Tigers D. I will disagree with you on that, AG. But here's the thing: Baltimore, don't be Baltimore. Don't do that. Do not. You have prospect capital. The Tigers can make a couple trades in their farm system and be okay. And I've never been able to say that with confidence. That being said, that's where Scott Harris is going to get better at the quote unquote fringes, because that's what they need to do, gentlemen. Because if they're going to keep looking old, they're going to keep going in internal. But if they can't get it done internal, what they're going to do? They have to go external, and they have to get it done. And so, but yeah, Baltimore, the Tigers D hat is better than Baltimore's. Baltimore's is cool, but classic Old English D is the best.
Yep, no doubt about it. Check out Raj, please, at Tigers ML Report, at MCM Baseball Pod. Raj, we love you. Yeah, look, he's got the merch.
Do you have a fresh cut over there too, Raj? Did I notice that?
Yeah. I got the wife cut up the hair a little bit. She did a shout out to my wife being a pretty good barber and getting this done, because I was not going to be long hair shagging all year. I can't do it. Like, look, a man in his early 40s in a ponytail looks kind of weird anyways, and he's not trying to. I'm not trying to fool anybody. So I had to go with the fresh cut this summer.
Come on, Raj.
I love it,
Raj. Hey, we'll talk to you soon, brother.
All right, thanks, guys.
Appreciate it, Raj.
Rogelio Castillo,
legend.
Oh yeah, absolute legend.
The greatest to ever do it.
With the fresh cut as well. Hey,
I noticed it right away, man.
You know what time it is.
Come on.
Our host.
Oh, I gotta get my trivia stuff.
Go grab it,
Lukas Klotz.
We had a pretty good interaction this week. I don't know if it was at the beginning of this week or the end of last week, but the conversation of movies got brought up, and Adam Sandler was then brought up, and I explained how, early on movies with Adam Sandler, not the biggest fan of, and it was considered one of the worst takes on this show. So the fellas, being the big Adam Sandler fans that they are, I figured they'd give something that they love. So today, we are doing Adam Sandler trivia. The boys love him so much.
Wow!
I don't know about that. I don't know
if I'm going to be good at it, but I'm juiced.
Adam Sandler IQ, ball IQ, and I think they were pretty easy. A couple of them are just simple multiple choice, and we got a couple fill in the blank where you're simply inserting the movie title that aligns with them. But I didn't do too many movies where it's like, oh, I didn't know Adam Sandler did that movie. It's a pretty on-brand Adam Sandler type of category, boys. So we ready?
This is the greatest trivia I think of all time. I might not win. Love it though.
You're gonna cook me on this.
I don't know. Think about it. The ones that I've always said I'm gonna cook you on, I think I've lost those ones. The only ones that I've won are the ones that I just like. I don't know.
Let's see this.
There's a couple that I don't think either of you will know, but it makes it fun because it's like you got to guess. Use context clues. But we move. Question number 1, best of 10. If you both tie at the end of the 10 questions, there will be a bonus question to decipher it. Okay? So, question number 1. Not a movie, but Adam Sandler history. Learn something here, boys, because it's something I didn't know. I want to see if one of you guys know this already. What was Adam Sandler's first national television appearance? We're not talking like minor role, but like big role, big part in it. A, SNL, Saturday Night Live. B,
Turn your chat off
Seinfeld.
too, Boone.
C, The
Don't
Kids
you-
in the
Yep,
Hall.
it's off. I just
Or
shut it off.
D, Mad TV.
Jeff, I feel like you should be able to get this.
Yeah,
I
this
feel
one
like this one's like this is like a step up to the plate. Here's an easy pitch, a fastball down the middle.
Yep.
Get warmed up
I'm
a little
ready.
bit. I'm good to go,
Locked
Klotz.
in, fellas?
We both could just be way off, to be honest.
Answers in 3, 2, and 1.
SNL.
The correct
SNL.
answer is A. SNL. Congratulations,
all-time
boys. Both
legend.
starting out 1 for 1. Come
On
on.
SNL.
Also appeared in did not know this, but in the Cosby Show. If you didn't know that, Adam Sandler had a role in the Cosby Show. Moving on to question 2. In Billy Madison, what snack food does Billy love the most? A. Snack packs. B. Ritz crackers. C. Drumstick, as in the ice cream, or D. Go-Gurts.
Those drumsticks, dude. Oh my gosh.
they're
Those are some of the greatest desserts of all time. I'm
Yeah.
good to go, by the way. I could go. Listen, if they're all like this, I might go 10 for 10. I don't want to hype myself up too much because it's only the second question. It could get way harder, but I know this answer because I hope I'm right, but I think I became obsessed with these snacks after this movie because of it.
FF.
All right, I got it.
Locked in.
Yep.
I hope I didn't just give it away to Jeff too, because he
No,
might know what I like.
This one,
Answers in 3, 2, and 1.
A, snack packs.
The answer is
I
A.
had-
Snack packs. Those are the things that were like cookies, and then they also had like
Yeah. With
No,
the,
no. Snack packs are just pudding cups.
Oh, really? Oh, I
Yeah,
feel
it's
dumb
snack
now.
pack. I used to. I after the Billy Madison movie, I used to just all I wanted at school was just snack packs. He tries to trade. He tries to trade for snack packs every lunch period.
We learned Boone is 2 for 2, Hefe 0 for 2. We go to question 3.
Oh, 1
Boone
for
got- Yeah, it's fine. We'll give him 1 for 2. Question number 3 now. What is Adam Sandler's name in the movie Grown Ups? The movie Grown Ups, Kevin James, Chris Rock, David Spade, who we met at the Combine, Boone. Is it A, Michael, B, Lenny, C, Curtis, or D, Tony?
I think I got it
Adam
wrong.
Sandler's name in the movie Grown Ups. Great movie.
I think I might have picked the dog's name. Could be wrong.
The one
though.
with no vocal cords.
Yeah, I think I might have picked that name.
I think I'm ready.
Locked in.
Yeah.
Answers in 3, 2, 1.
Hey.
B, Lenny. I was gonna
The
do
answer
A.
is B, Lenny. Lenny is the
Okay.
name.
Hold on.
Married. God, I can't think of her real name.
Yeah,
who's
she's
the act-
Great
what's the
actor.
actress name too.
Or actress. Yeah, great actress.
Yeah.
Ah, God.
You
Can't
don't
think of her name. Either way, we move on to question 4, boys. All right. Booner
I
is
told you, Boone,
3
this is gonna be a
for
rough one.
Boone's 3 for 3, correct?
Yeah.
All right. Honoring his word. Question 5. This is a fill in the blank. You gotta put the movie title. In this movie, Adam Sandler is betrayed by his best friend, who turns out to be an undercover cop. The two met up again, and both are caught up in a trap set by a criminal mastermind.
I don't know why I can't think of this right now.
What is the movie title for this one? If you can't guess, put an Adam Sandler movie down. Might be
Betrayed
right.
by his best
This is a
friend.
Netflix movie, right?
Couldn't tell you.
This is on Netflix, I think.
I don't know. You tell me.
The two met up again, but are caught in a trap set up by a criminal mastermind. Oh, I know this movie. I think Jennifer Aniston's in it.
Yeah.
Give you guys a little bit of time just because it's a fill in the blank.
Oh, and they go on a yacht.
Yeah.
What movie is this?
I don't know the movie.
And there's a second one too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna take a wild guess.
I
at
don't
this.
honestly. I don't even have a guess. I'm just not gonna answer this one. I really don't. I don't know the name of it.
Opting out.
Yeah. I don't have.
I have no clue actually. All right, I got one.
To write down if I'm being.
Do you want me to
Alright.
say it since he's out?
Sure. It's here.
Is it Murder Mystery
Nope. It
from
is
Netflix?
Bulletproof with one of the Wayans brothers.
Oh,
1996. This is another
Oh,
movie
this
of
ain't the
Adam
Netflix
Sandler's that I
one.
actually
yeah.
do
What's
like.
definitely not in Netflix?
1996. Yep. No.
Way
No,
off.
I
on
Give it
that.
away. All the Netflix movies are newer, so I couldn't give that away. But Bulletproof, great movie. Great Adam Sandler movie. Question number 5, boys. Another fill in the blank. In which movie does Adam play the role of Sonny Koufax? Great movie. Another movie that I like.
The fill in the
it.
blank. I'm toast.
I got it.
Hefe's shooting Mitchell Robinson at the line right now.
I don't know.
You're not going to take a guess, Jeff?
No.
Not one guess. Just name an Adam Sandler movie. Any Adam Sandler movie.
I know.
Do we got a timer here for the man? Or we just...
We'll give him 15 more seconds.
No, it's not coming. I know it sounds familiar, like a character. The name Sonny sounds familiar.
You got to throw out just a movie.
I mean, yeah, anything. Could be
Just
wrong.
any movie.
At least put a shot.
You gotta like. You're holding the ball. You're holding the ball with time running out of the clock down.
All right, I got my answer.
On the line.
Can I say it? Can I just say it?
Yeah, I wrote mine down, so you can just say yours.
Click.
No.
Big Daddy.
Big Daddy is the correct answer. Booner is on it. Boone, have you missed yet?
Yeah, I missed a bulletproof one.
Yeah,
that's right. All right, Jeff. I'm sorry. We got one more, then we'll get back to multiple choice. Another fill in the blank. In this movie, I don't know why I said our Adam. Adam Sandler is sent from hell to earth to bring back his two brothers. He also has to rescue his father, the devil.
Jeff, you should know. You should know this one.
I'm bad at fill in the blank. If I'm being honest.
But like you should know this. If you know any Adam Sandler movies, you should know.
I'm not. This is.
If it helps, Jeff,
I don't know.
This is one that I do not like. I do not like this movie.
We actually talked about this the other night when we were having the conversation.
I'm sure.
I
when
think
you
you said the movie name. How are we having a conversation the other night and you say this movie, and then tonight you just say I don't know. Like you got to guess like any.
I'm thinking this. I'm thinking a couple of these are layups from our conversation.
100%. Jeff's the one that brought this movie up the other night.
I get.
This is the most anxiety I've ever seen this man have.
Yeah, I don't know, bro.
Who's under the most pressure, Dan Campbell or Jeff Iafrate?
Dude,
I got nothing on Jeff right now.
I don't got it.
It's Little Nicky.
It is Lil Nicky, correct. The answer is Lil Nicky, another one of Adam Sandler's movies where he can just play more of a normal human being. Could have been good, but it's part of the character. Not Adam's fault. Just type of movie. We move on, Boone. You're 5 for 6, I believe.
Can we just say Booner won?
Let's finish this. Let's finish this. I want to see what we get.
You're gonna at least. Have
I've been in your position, Jeff.
You got to put up a shot.
I've been in your position.
It's not.
Multiple choice, Hefe. And Happy Gilmore. Happy sinks a hole-in-one on what par? Par 3, par 5, par 8, or par 4? The hole-in-one.
Well, Jeff, it's not C. I just want you to know that.
Is that not can you not have a par 8?
I've never seen a par 8 in my life.
All right, learn something new every day.
There's really only a 3, 4, and 5. But the 8, imagine an 8. I would probably get a 9. That would really mess up my score, huh? Imagine that.
All right,
that'd be tough.
I gotta go back and watch film. This is just bad. I mean,
I don't know if I know this either. This is just a guess. I think I do, but
answer in 3, 2, and 1.
D, 4.
I'll go 5.
The answer is D, 4. Booner remains hot. He remains hot. We move on to question 8, fellas.
This is just
move on to question 8. Jeff, yeah, you're throwing in the towel, but you're not tapping. Okay, the throwing in the towel, the refs pushing the towel back to the benches. Question number 8, and the water boy, Bobby Boucher, played on a football team. For what football team? What was the football team's name in Waterboy? The Alabama Roughnecks, the Louisiana Bulldogs, the Louisiana Mud Dogs, or the Mississippi Maulers?
All right.
Which one of these did Bobby Boucher?
You got this one, Jeff.
I don't.
This is a layup. I knew this one, and I can't.
You know this, Jeff.
All right. I don't think I do. All right, ready?
Answers in 3, 2, and 1.
C. Yeah, there you go.
Jeff is back on the board. Not technically on the board with a point for himself, but you know what? He saw one go through. You're facing adversity, Hefe. That's all we can ask for you at this point. I'm proud of you. Keep moving. Not too many questions left. Question number
that has
9.
to be disheartening, Jeff. That sentence there that he just said.
That's terrible.
What is the name of the film where Adam Sandler played a hotel owner who tells bedtime stories?
Oh, another fill in the blank. I'm toast. I don't know. I know the movie.
I mean, there's
A
no
hotel
excuse.
owner that tells bedtime stories.
And the shit, the shit like happens, or like
Great. This is one of the best.
Yeah, it's
Adam
a great
Sandler
movie.
movies
It's
from my
like I know the
It's like a
movie.
kids movie. It's not
a
Miss.
great-
It's,
I actually
almost
saw
said
this
A.
movie in theaters, and I don't know the fucking movie. I honestly don't. I don't know the movie.
Great movie.
I don't.
I don't know the name. I'm just gonna do this because I think this would be funny if Klotz.
I don't know this movie, man. I don't.
All right, I got it. I actually don't know it.
Yeah.
I don't know the name of it.
Boone.
This is like a new Adam Sandler movie. I put bedtime stories.
It's not new,
I can't remember the name.
but I don't know the
Boone?
name. I'm toast.
You are correct.
Is that the
Movie's
name
called
of it?
Bedtime story.
That's not okay. I figured. I was like, "There's no way Klotz would put the name of it in there," but I do remember that the name was like close.
Yeah, great movie. Great movie. I'm pretty sure.
The name's in the question, Jeff.
Yeah, that's what like Jeff. You got it. If you've seen like that was one of the things where somebody said Schindler's List.
I was almost gonna say Mr. Deeds when I saw Hotel, but then I realized.
Final question, Boone. See if you can if you can open up the lead on him just a little bit more. You can go on an OKC third quarter run here, okay? Question number 10. Final question. Then Jeff, it's over. It's all over, okay? Which NFL team did Paul Crewe originally play for in the movie Longest Yard? Paul Crewe, the quarterback that Adam Sandler played. He went to jail after a DUI, crashing his girlfriend's car, but everybody knew him as Paul Crewe, quarterback for the blank. Which team?
Come on, Jeff. You know this one.
Oh,
I just picture the announcer saying it. I think, but I could be wrong.
Kind of
There's
fits
two
with
answers.
the
There's
timeline.
two
I'll
answers
give you a
on that
hint.
one.
Think about when that movie was made, and think about a timeline of things going on in the NFL.
yeah.
Possibly some allegations. I don't know.
You just gave him the answer.
I don't think.
You did for sure.
Well,
If
he,
Jeff,
he, he did give me the answer, but I was battling between that answer and another one. You just helped me out, so thank you.
They give him some points. He still gets it wrong. Got it in, Hefe? Pause.
Yeah.
All right, Boone. All right, Hefe. 3, 2, and 1.
B.
I told you you'd still get it wrong.
B,
It's
it's
D,
the
the
Steelers.
Steelers. The Steelers.
Ben
The reference I
Roethlisberger.
was making to was to 419 legend, if I really want to put that. Ben Roethlisberger had a certain type of case that I really don't want to lead into on air. That not so good. Beat that case. Did he really? We will never know.
I had B and D, and when he said allegations, I was like, "Oh, it's got to be B." Like I was like, "Oh, that's easy."
No.
Well, what was the
last
bonus
name was turned
question?
into something else. I'm sorry, Boone.
The bonus question.
Oh, how many movies has Adam Sandler made?
Oh,
And
I'm
whoever
not
had it
answering
right.
that. Yeah, it's a tough one.
Yeah,
I
I
think
would
this
say
might be
Jesse Adams, Hefe. It was a Kobe Bryant type of allegation for Ben Roethlisberger.
I think that might have been the biggest margin of victory in our trivia history.
Oh yeah, it was a blowout. That was a
Nine-
much
9-2.
Top
Yeah,
three.
that was a good one. That was like I needed to see the ball go through, and I just had like one of the biggest wins in franchise history. And now we're going into the next week with like the utmost confidence.
That's what you needed. Back on the horse. We ride. We ride.
That was a good one,
We'll
Adam
be back.
Sandler.
Figure something to
Yeah.
switch it up besides sports.
I think that's all I can operate in. I could just
Maybe
that's
we
all
should
I
do like
operate.
World War II trivia. A war, casualties, battles.
Oh my god.
That's the historian in you. Are you
I'm
Vietnam
not good
War
with,
savant? Are you a Cold
with
War
history.
savant? Are you really a patriot?
I think
Any history like that, I'm not
I
doing
think
well.
I wouldn't. I don't think I think I'd be pretty good at like history. I'm bad at like pop culture, probably the worst. Like this
Yeah. When it comes to, like celebrities and stuff, I know no one.
this is probably my like.
I still
Why?
probably would have beaten you by a wide margin here.
The fact that Jeff is an Adam Sandler guy and got 2 out of 10 is like,
Yeah, no, it's bad.
shocking.
I think what really got me is the fill in the blanks. I think I didn't get a single fill in the blank, so that's like 3 or 4.
But those ones weren't that hard. Like Lil Nicky, you literally brought that up the other night.
Yeah,
you said that
but
movie.
It's different when it's in front of you.
Big Daddy.
Fill in the blank. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, the Sammy Koufax one to give away for that.
Yeah. Hey, memory. I got a decent memory, but usually that pertains to sports.
That was a shock, dude. That is shocking, man. The murder mystery. Oh no, that was wrong. That was my only one I
that was
had
a whole
wrong.
different one. than
Yeah, the
murder.
Lenny one, the snack packs. Yeah, that was actually really easy, to be honest. I
Yeah.
want to do more.
No more of that. No more of that.
That's done.
Yeah, I got cooked. I got absolutely cooked. You know what? You still did a good job, Clancy. I just
Thanks,
got
fellas.
absolutely. It just didn't show up today.
You hit the Chris Paul with the big 3 to cut the lead to 40 at the end there.
It's tough. At least we know where I got exposed today.
We know your
Stop
strengths.
holding
We know your weaknesses.
Yep.
Not a movie man.
No.
A man of the cinema
yeah,
arts.
I
You
guess
are
my
not.
memory does not pertain to movies. I guess.
Should we do like I will think of something for next week.
Well, we got 4 minutes. If you got mailbag questions, we'll go
Drop
through them.
some. I saw there's been a couple in there already.
Let's see.
Saw
Yep,
Jesse
I got
put
2
one.
here. All right, mailbag. Jesse, mailbag. Hey, Booner. So now that Sugar is 0-2 versus Marab, who should fight next for the belt versus Marab? Sandhagen, Jan, Umar. 0-1 already versus Marab, by the way.
That's not
man.
it's not a Booner question, to be honest. I don't know anything about the weight class.
Sandhagen
don't
would
know.
die. We were just talking about Sandhagen this weekend.
Yeah.
Where he's like so good, but he always is the guy to get his ass beat. Like once he goes up a contender.
Jan, I've heard of Jan. Maybe I would go Jan.
Computer.
I don't know if he's good. I don't know. I'm not familiar with some of these guys.
Yeah,
to be
I think
honest.
who probably deserves it. I mean, dude, they're all gonna get mauled. I think who would be like the best matchup? I think Jan would be interesting. Probably Sandhagen. If he wins, maybe you say Sandhagen could be in that mix. But I just think matchup wise, it's just a bad matchup.
Mm-hmm.
All these guys are bad matchups for Marab. It's just everyone. I mean, he's just gonna-
Especially like
so
if
it's
you're
tough.
taller and lengthier, like it's so easy for him just to get you to the ground. And like once you're on the ground with him, it's a game over. Like you saw
I
that
don't
with
think-
Sean. Like
Yeah,
Sean's
like
good in jiu-jitsu, man, but if he's just able to control leverage wise, way much more than you could have. Like that's why I think Jan's probably his best matchup just for size and strength, even with leverage.
that's why I can't see a world like Sean can fight him a third time if he wants, but I just don't see a world he beats him. Like there was no advantage at all for Sean O'Malley. None. There was like he has no chance to beat him.
Yeah, I mean, and then you have Sandhagen lost to Umar, so he lost via decision. So I don't know. Jan would probably be more interesting, honestly. But Sandhagen, I'd go Sandhagen. I'd like to see Sandhagen fight for it
Mm-hmm.
if he
I love
wins.
Sandhagen.
Ben, he says mailbag Klotz. Are you familiar with Francis?
Yeah, I don't know even how to say it. The big Samoa. I think he's a
Like
left
goal.
hand.
The offensive
Animal,
tackle
yeah.
from the U?
Yeah, he'll be probably like a top 5 to 10 pick. He's good though. He's legit. Be like a Tristan Wirfs, Panay, Rashawn Slater type of guy. I don't know. Slater was kind of a guard, so Slater's a bad one. But he'll be like the tackle of this year's draft class. Pretty sure Bama has one too. Tackle. Can't think of his name off the top of my head, but you'll see his name a lot. Athletic, boy can move.
Yeah, I wasn't familiar. Francis.
me
Cam
either.
Ward.
I was
Sorry, I didn't.
not familiar. If he's a Samoan and he's elite, then
I think he had like a 91 or 2 overall in NCAA going into last year. Hefe, if that helps at all.
There's a good scale. Yeah. That's,
they-
yeah.
Fitness, little metric.
That's funny, man.
Mr. Detroit City mailbag, tell Adam Doom we love him and he is better than Adam Sandler in our books. We will tell Adam that.
Let me screenshot that and send it to him right now.
Yeah, we will definitely tell Adam that. He's doing good. He's just working. He's working. He's with his son.
His son's getting so old, man. It's crazy, dude.
Yeah, flying.
Yeah, he's got
It's
another
nuts,
kid
man.
coming. Just
Being
know,
a dad now, man.
dad. He's got the dad bod. He's
It's crazy in life, like when you become a dad, like you are like now, like he's raising a family. It's just like knowing Adam years ago to now, seeing him like raise a family. It's just such like a crazy. It's good to the cycle of life is just so a very interesting thing, man.
Yeah, out of all the crazy shit he says, he's a great father. He's a
father. It's just so funny to me, dude. It's just like, man, this guy Adam is a dad, dude. It's funny though.
Hey, we'll get out of here. Appreciate you all. Tomorrow, the Doc will be joining for Doc Wednesdays. We'll get to talk about all the Lions news, rumors, updates, everything that pertains to the Detroit Lions with the Doc and Detroit sports. So be there tomorrow.
Hey, can we throw this up real quick? Hold on. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off, Jeff. I just want to throw this up. We'll do this every day if you guys want real quick. Just so we know. We should have probably done it in the middle of the show. But
oh yeah.
Can you put it up on the screen?
Yep.
The Tyler Conklin Foundation. If people are in the area, if you're in the area, Metro Detroit or anywhere, honestly, you can drive. It's a long event. This isn't like just like an hour-long event. This is kind of like an all-day event that they're doing. Tyler is doing, and I know he was on the show and talked about it. I missed that show, but where he's doing, youth sessions. You see there in middle school. NFL showcase. He's doing all three different things, and during it all, there's going to be like a whole a community festival as well with it, where they're going to be doing like food trucks, like a bunch of different things. And at the end of the night, I think there's going to be fireworks. So it's kind of like an all-day event.
Come on.
So it's 2 to 9. I mean, we'll probably be there literally. Our crew will be there, I think, from 2 to 9. I talked to Eric. If you guys know, it's Too Easy. That does the vlogs for the Lions. I had texted him today. He's actually going to be there. Probably filming and stuff. So, and I'm sure there's going to be some other NFL players and some people there, coaches, a lot of different things. So if you want to come out, come support. I think there's a QR code right there. You guys can see the QR code. It's on our socials as well. So it's next Saturday. So if you want to kind of come out, I'll be out there, and we'll keep reminding the people. And I know there is a price for it, obviously, for charity and his foundation. But it's all.
There's a price for the kids to be entered, but you can show up and just.
Yes, like a community thing, and I do know for one of the I don't know if it's the youth middle school one, but I did see a video that Tyler put out today that said if you can't afford to enter it and go to do the camp, you can reach out to his rep, I believe, and I believe there's an email in this, or if you need to get the emails, to shoot us a message to where there are sponsors who are sponsoring kids to do the camp as well if you can't pay. So
hey, we'll be there. I can't wait for it. It'll be cool. It'll be awesome, man. I think I'm gonna get my brother involved, so he'll be out there too. Little bro, he'll be doing the 11 to 14-year-olds.
I'm interested too in this NFL showcase.
Yeah, no, it'll be sweet.
Actually, we heard of some coaches that are going to be there. It's going to be a pretty legit
Yeah, it'll be awesome.
Want to watch some football? If
you can come out, man. Support a good cause. But until tomorrow, we will catch you all.
Peace.